welcome into this week's broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Valorant, broadcasting it from the Boise State Game Pans Esports Arena. It's week 6 of the Grand Finals, but we still have some action we got to take care of first. When we last left you off, we saw Surge White had qualified for the Grand Finals in Group B, but the Landslides and Firestorm had an insane battle and ended up in a tie, and that has to be settled tonight before we get to our Grand Final. So we'll kick things off with a play-in game, best of one, Landslides, Firestorm, winner plays Surge White in the Grand Finals for a spot in BFC. I'm Michael Fisher, and joining me to call all of the action is Alex Notkoba Moore, the Boise State Valorant head coach at Notkoba. We've seen some insane players, but the Landslide really have looked unstoppable as long as it's not on Icebox. And I've been told we're not going to Icebox first. This could be a very, very quick game between the Landslides and Firestorm because the Landslides are just that good.
Yeah, Landslides have been playing incredibly well in all of these weeks we've seen so far. And it's going to be really interesting to see what the Firestorms can actually bring forward to kind of combat that, see what they have prepared and kind of see what strategies they're thinking of.
Yeah, I'm the one who thought that people would slowly catch up to the Landslide. They were very close. They were, I think, a 13-11 match on Icebox last week in our final game of the group stage to force this winner-take-all tiebreaker, and we will see who is going to get it done. As a reminder, this Rumble qualifies a high school team to compete in the Box Fight Championships in Valorant with Valorant pro players and content creators. The Landslides are back-to-back champs. They're trying to make it 3 in a row. We'll see if any team can get in their way. And as we mentioned, we'll kick off with a best of one, Firestorms and Landslides. I believe it is going to be on split. Whoever wins that will then play Surge White in a best of 3. And I am really curious to see how things are going to go here between these two teams because these have probably been our two best teams, Koba. The Landslides and the Firestorms. It's honestly almost a little bit of a sad story that they can't play in the Grand Finals because they've been that so good. But that we're going to kick things off with a crazy, insane game.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens. And we've seen a lot of things from the Landslides, so I have to see what they bring out here today.
So we hop into our first game. We get Doc's keys to the game in Valorant, especially when the Landslide are playing, especially when Mr. Memphi is on the field. Do not ego peek that up because Mr. Memphi does not miss, and he will absolutely put his team up 1. Know your win con, call out your abilities, and calculate enemy econ. It's all brought to you by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. As I said, we're kicking out the show tonight with our tiebreaker game. Landslides and Firestorm. There's a spot in the Grand Finals on the line. Will the Landslides miss their first ever Grand Finals under our format, or will they continue their dominating streak? We are about to find out. It is on Bind, not split. I apologize. We're on Bind, and let's get ready to go here, Koba. And it's not Icebox, which I know some of our other casters like, but it's on a map that maybe, what are your opinions on Bind?
Bind's one of the more interesting ones because it's the only one that really incorporates these teleporters that take you to 2 different places across the map. So it gives you a lot of options for flanking and just kind of finding different avenues and different streets where you can actually attack your opponent, whether you're on offense or on defense. So it's really interesting to see what they bring out here. It looks like so far we're seeing a lot of Omen, seeing some KO.
We saw Snazzy hover the KO. I ended up not going with it, and that is something we saw KO for the first time in our Rumble last week. We see El Boof on it this time, and Riley, who's one of our casters, he came off the stage and said, man, KO is insanely busted. He's like, I don't know why everyone's not playing it, so we'll see if El Boof maybe trying to go with that wild card with that OP operator, because Riot's usually not known for releasing things very balanced in a sense, and we'll see if that maybe can carry the Firestorms. Last week was 13-11. They were 2 rounds away from winning. We'll see if they can get it done here on Bind. Landslide on the left defending, Firestorms on the right to kick things off.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what comes out from this match. We'll see the Landslides on defense to start things off. Usually sites are a little bit more defensive favored, so we'll have to see if they're able to kind of get a good role going into this game and seeing if they're able to lead things off with a bang.
Of course, our camera starts on the man you always want to watch out for the Landslide. It is Mr. Memphi. Absolutely insane player, but Prestige is also a guy you want to watch out for. He could pop off at any moment, and they have a very well-rounded team. We've talked about this a lot with the Landslide almost every week. Anyone can have that pop-off game. Sulix has had a few. Snazzy's had a couple of rounds. He's improving every week on that Sova. This is the hardest part to me, Koba, about the Landslides team. There's not that one top fragger that's, okay, we took out, the top fragger, we're good to go. Anybody can have a 3 or 4K in a single round on this team, and that's what makes them so deadly, is they are so dang balanced.
Yeah, they're really being synergizing as a team, and they really, like you said, anyone can kind of pop off and just find those moments of brilliance. We'll have to see what the Firestorms actually bring against this. We see them moving their way down towards Hookah. We'll have to see if this Brimstone is able to hold, or breach, excuse me. He's going to get a nice pop on Noob Man, but he's going to throw out the Roomba. Looks like they are going to push forward. They are able to take over the Hookah and make their way over to this B site.
Prestige didn't see him. I don't think he knows the whole enemy team is behind him. You see the hard rotate over from A. One from Snazzy. Smoke does go down. The Prestige knows where they are. Can't quite find one. No, he at least trades it off.
Yeah, looks like it's a 4 for 3, so not too imbalanced yet, but we do see a lot of damage been taken by the Sova, and it takes down to 3v3. And Spike has been planted, so it's going to come down to if they can retake this site and defuse that bomb.
Solix is looking at a couple different angles. Knows where Boof is. He's got the calls from his teammate as well. Oh, Noob Man peeks, gets headshot. Snazzy's trying to run away. Solix trying to make a play. Actually pulls out the knife, has to go back to the pistol.
Oh, and he loses it.
Oh, it's a 1v2.
He's going to grab onto the Spike for a little bit, get a tick. Looks like Elboof's going to pop out. Oh, and Snazzy's able to win the gunfight with the Ghost. He's just, accuracy was 2 on point. That was super close for the Firestorms, though. And if that's what's going to be the level of this match, I can't wait to see the rest of it.
That was insane start there from the Firestorms. Unfortunately, just, I think, 25 health. Maybe 1 or 2 more shots separated Snazzy from getting that defuse. And it was also a great bait. We saw it. Elboof sat in Hookah, I think, and we talked about those teleporters. Mr. Memphi had to use the teleporter to get from A to B, and he just walked right into Elboof's pistol line. So the Firestorm, I think they know they're the underdogs, but they definitely came to play in that first round. But now, losing that pistol round, Econ's against you. Round 2 is going to be a lot harder. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of Spectres. You see this Marshall coming out. It's going to be pretty difficult for the Firestorms to fight back this. That's a nice start, getting Mr. Memphi down to 5 HP. Got to run away from the paint shell as well. He's going to try one more peek here. Oh,
he lands the shot on Noob Man.
9 and 5 HP. He's going to put the jet smoke down. I think both of them are just going to retreat. Yeah, he's able to get the orb, so still a slight advantage. We'll have to see if Snazzy's going to poke his way through this. But they're just wanting to play back a little bit. See some plant shots going in. We'll see the scan coming out as well. Ooh, almost actually got the dink onto Raze over there. Trying to get something to smoke. This is an interesting one with Prestige on that breach. He's usually a Reyna player, so that breach, a new character, not something we see from the landslides very often. Curious to see if now that he's not on that Reyna, if his pop-off ability is going to be a little bit lessened. But he sees right now, he's going for a very sneaky flank. Nobody, the Firestorms, knows he's there, and he could get an insane, at least 3-man lurk if he wanted to. Yeah, he's found himself on a great spot. Looks like KO's coming around the corner. Looks like he's going to hold this, buy his time for a little bit longer. We do see that looks like the Firestorms have taken the site. And now you see at the top of your screen, Prestige is going to try and push in on the very back line. Solix over in the elbow at B. Got a smoke in front of him. Don't want to take it too much damage. Prestige finally finds Elboof. There we go. Now he's got control of this Hookah area. They've got multiple opportunities of where they can actually fight back from. They are going to wall off that side, though. Looks like Prestige is going to find Cool Guy as well. Firestorm, they at least trade off one. Noob Man and DTX both hanging out in that B-side area. The third. Well, one more left. No, that's actually all. That was it. That was a really well-played retake by the landslides. They were just able to pinch them out from multiple different angles and just able to kind of collapse on everyone. And the Firestorms just got confused and weren't able to figure out where these shots were coming from. Yeah, Prestige, an insanely impressive lurk. He retakes Hookah and just no one had any sort of way to defend against that. Everyone on the B site was in gunfire, multiple people. So just an insane play by the landslides, being that confident to say, I'm just going to hang out in their spawn. They're not going to check me. And kind of baited them into rotating over towards B. And now I'll be curious to see what comes out here for the Firestorm. Yeah. They lost another round, so they've got a good amount of money coming back into this one. They didn't buy up too much, so we'll have to see if they're able to pick up some more rifles. We see New Man's got the Phantom here, going to try and fight off against Mr. Memphi. We saw him last time both injure each other, but Memphi wins the shot there, but Cool Guy Fire is able to kind of bring it back. Mr. Memphi only brought the pistol. I don't know if he was maybe one point away from the knives or what. Kind of weird after winning the round, but we wanted to eco. Now we see Snazzy to get a plant come off, but UNF Warrior gets found out. Simply TD and Solix going to ping down DTX as well. And it is a 3v2 as Cool Guy Fire gets one back.
Yeah, they're fighting back. They're making it difficult. Looks like Elboof's going to pick up one, leaving it out. Takes the second one. Looks like it all comes down to Prestige.
Does have the health advantage, but he barely sees his shoulder. Does a little bit of damage. Going to try and blind him. Gets one. Now it's Cool Guy Fire versus Prestige with slight health advantage to Prestige, but not by much.
Yeah, and Cool Guy does have this Phantom. Prestige only has the Stinger. We'll have to see if he's able to pick up another little stronger rifle, but for now, they're just kind of waiting. Both sides know where the spike is, so if Cool Guy's able to just stall it out, he's got the spike, he's got plenty of time. It looks like he's going to ult across the map and try and get it planted.
He just wants to create as much distance as possible. Spike's going to go down at B. And now it's going to be up to Cool Guy Fire to hold this. He's got the chance to set up defense. Meanwhile, Prestige is going to run into Hookah. He has no idea where Cool Guy Fire is. He's looking in the wrong direction right now.
Yeah, he's using all his utility already without knowing. Looks like all he has left is that barrage from his ults, but so far, he's no idea where Cool Guy is.
Like, ooh, you can see there the silhouette. Prestige has no idea. Cool Guy's got a peek and barely misses him. Fakes the defuse.
Not gonna meet right here, and Cool Guy Fire's gonna take that one. Give the first round for the Firestorms.
Excellently played by the Firestorms, and Elboof's a guy, I mean, of course, he ended up getting taken out there, but he made that round winnable for the Firestorm, picking up those 2 kills, and he's a guy who's improved every single week, and if he keeps having performances like that, we might have ourselves another 13-11 game, or maybe even an upset, and a first-ever knockout of the landslides in the bracket stage.
Yeah, and it's really exciting seeing him play on this KO, one of these newer operators, and just seeing how he brings him out and see where he makes use of that dagger and just makes everyone kind of adapt how they play around it. You see him bring out the judge here as well. Just see if he's, ooh, good shot by Mr. Memphis. Oh. Another one. Oh, can't get the third though. Looks like he's gonna fall. But 2 quick eliminations for Mr. Memphis is going to make this difficult for Firestorms.
We've talked about with that op to Mr. Memphis. They do get the spike down, though. Cool Guy Fire is able to smoke it out. And, ooh, tries to teleport, gets caught. They do trade out 1 for 1. There's the ult on the UNF4 here. Nice takedown. Yeah,
that was just a quick work from the landslides. They were able to use their utility perfectly. They knew exactly they were all coming from that B main, or A main, excuse me, and just knew exactly where to find them.
Yeah, that was an insane play for Mr. Memphis. Just his skill with the op has honestly been unmatched by anything I've ever seen in my own games or the Esports Tower. He just feels like he never misses a shot and is almost guaranteed for 1, if not 2, and probably was inches away from a 3 kill there just by himself.
And Prestige was able to save that op and give it back to him. So, wow, might be seeing another round of it. Just total domination from it. You see he decided to go over towards B this time, and that looks like what the Firestorms are going to be attacking as well.
Yeah, the Firestorms have got to figure out, honestly, the best way to win this is to avoid Mr. Memphis. We saw him there. He did have to dash away. Ooh. He still walked into it, though.
Yep. He's just right on. He knows exactly where they're coming from. Looks like Elboof's going to find another shot from Mr. Memphis as well.
That shot barely flies over UNF Warrior's shoulder with the smoke out, and you probably want to go over to the A site now if you're the Firestorms, because this is a heavily defended B. Unfortunately, they don't see Snazzy on that Sova. He's coming around for the lurk if they don't leave Hookah soon.
Yeah, looks like Snazzy's going to go the long way, though, so they have their chance to sneak her out. But looks like Snazzy turns around. Oh, a lot of missed shots there, but looks like Snazzy's able to get the final elimination just from the back in there.
And I mean, you have to wonder, Koba, how do you counter Mr. Memphis if you don't have an opera of your own? I mean, it could be a cash thing as well, just not having enough credits. But, I mean, once again, 2 kills for Mr. Memphis, and there was just no counter because the operator is such a high-skill gun that if you're good with it, there's not much you can really do if you're the other team. Yeah,
it makes it really difficult. Well, I'd like to see them just use a little bit more tactical use of their equipment. We saw the Rays trying to throw out the Roomba to kind of draw a shot, but they stepped a little bit too far forward. They threw that out just before stepping out. And Mr. Memphis gets another one, but looks like he's going to activate Elboof's ultimate. So he's not quite out yet. Looks like Rays is going to pick him back up.
You can see they kind of tried to counter him with that smoke. Simply TD is over there as well, and he's going to get the first one, though. Noobman gets the kill with his own ultimate, and before Snazzy gets it, and we're in a 3v2.
Yeah, Mr. Memphis on the back side. Looks like they're going to start planting. Nope, not quite yet, excuse me. Looks like, ooh, he's able to find Cypher in the back And we're down to a 1-1. And it's this classic Noobman versus Mr. Memphi. We've seen this a few times in this match already, and Mr. Memphi's going to come out on top again.
An insane flick from Mr. Memphi. Use the dash to break line of sight. And I think the other thing that we've seen, unfortunately, is Mr. Memphi has absolutely predicted every site that the Firestorm are going to push. He was at A twice, then he was at B in the middle, and every single time the Firestorm would push into him, you've almost got to maybe have somebody just peek and then be willing to quick rotate over, because you cannot push into Mr. Memphi. And so far, he's 3 for 3 on predicting what side that the Firestorm want to go to.
He's always there, and it looks like once again he's going to be there. It looks like he's going to go through showers and might be finding El Boof over there. We'll have to see if they're able to actually do something about this op and get it off. But no, it looks like Mr. Memphi's going to find that first elimination again.
Yeah, he knows the strength of those alt orbs. Did get EMP'd though, and it looks like now they're going to rotate over. They know he's in shower, so they're just going to hard push in the other side onto B and try and catch Mr. Memphi in an awkward spot.
Yeah, definitely need to get up and close to the op to try and eliminate him. Or just find some way to just kind of shove him back from his position he doesn't want to. It looks like UNF's going to be planting here. Mr. Memphi's going to find Noobman. Few shots coming out from Snazzy. He's able to pick up UNF. Call comes down to DTX, but it's not going to be enough, and Snazzy's going to take it, and it's a flawless for the landslides.
And then, unfortunately, Mr. Memphi with, I think, 3 there. Snazzy got 2 as well. I mean, that is, again, the power of this landslide team. You see Mr. Memphi 10-4, but Snazzy sitting at 10-2 as well. Prestige at 8-4. It's so hard to beat the landslide, because even if you do eliminate Mr. Memphi, which I think the Firestorm have the skill to do, then you've got to watch out for the rest of the team, because anyone on this team is capable of being a top fragger, and it's so hard. And you see they're all over at B. They do have Mr. Memphi at A, though, so they might actually have some freedom here to push, at least for a little bit.
Yeah, if there's a time to turn them around, it's now, when they are away from that op. It gives them a little chance to set up and make Mr. Memphi have a bit harder of a time coming from one of those A sides. We see them going through hookah. We see the ults coming out from the Sova.
Unable to find anything with that Hunter's Fury. They're going to get smoked down to at least kind of protect the line on hookah. Mr. Memphi's still hanging out at A, though, so with the 5v4.
Nice flashbangs coming out. They're able to pick up Prestige. Looks like El Boof's going to fall to Noobman. He's going to get the double. And they're going to start planting inside the center of the container.
Force reconnect. Solix is sitting in that smoke, though. They are able to get the revive out. They take out 1, and Solix gets 2 as well. Huge play from Solix there to even that up and make it a 2-on-2. Mr. Memphi, double kill with the knives.
Yeah, making it a 2v2, and now a 2v1 is incredibly impressive. And it all comes down to if Cool Guy Fire can stall long enough. It looks like Mr. Memphi's going to start defusing, and I don't know if Cool Guy can get him with the wall bank here.
Trying. Simply TD's actually going to run in, block some of the bullets, take him out himself, and Solix with the insane play. Not only did he get the Sage, but he also got the KO on the revive, and that was really, I think, what turned around for the landslides.
Yeah, that lurk and just coming from the side and able to get so much value. KO was barely even alive, didn't get the chance to do anything off of that revive, and just immediately fell again. And the fact that it cost him ultimate as well is huge. They were just able to turn that really cleanly and keep their lead going. And looks like we're having a super strong showing from Landslides in this first one.
Landslides up 7-1. This is our tiebreaker game. Winner of this will take on Surge White in our best-of-3 grand finals for a spot in the Box Fight Championships. Right now, the Landslide trying to make it 3 in a row. Prestige, ooh, only gets 1.
Trades 1 for 1, so not too bad. Especially when you're peeking in front of 2 people. That's a solid trade.
Cool Guy Fire still sitting in that corner on the B side. El Boof comes out. Hookah takes a bit of damage. Cool Guy Fire gets 1. Snazzy, who's having himself an insane game, gets a double kill before Cool Guy Fire picks up his 3rd of the round. Now the spike's going to go down. It's another 2-on-2.
Yeah, we see both of them are on that side. They know exactly where they are, and Cool Guy Fire is going to get the plant. See DTX pointing out a little bit, but they are inside that Cypher smoke. Have to see if they're able to find the angle here. Looks like Mr. Memphi takes a shot, but isn't quite able to land anything. And then time's on the Firestorm side. They have someone flanking from Hoopka. And they are able to make on site. DTX gets the first one, and Cool Guy Fire gets the 4th elimination, and it's on Mr. Memphi. They're able to get the operator for themselves and get a huge round win.
Yeah, it is a huge exchange there in credits, so I would assume Mr. Memphi is more than stocked up to buy himself another op, but that was insane. Cool Guy Fire with the fantastic play. I know at one point I did see DTX had the Neural Theft available. Not sure if that's what was able to kind of push that round in the favor of the Firestorms or not, because it is no longer up. And he's the one with the op. And I don't want to say pressure is on DTX, but he's probably got to at least get 1 or 2, and especially Mr. Memphi, to make that op worth something.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we get any of those op battles. We do see Mr. Memphi over at A still, but looks like Firestorms are going to be focusing their attention at B. They're going to make their way towards Hookah. We do see Prestige on this corner over here, going towards the teleporter. See them starting to poke out. Cool Guy Fire's going to walk across. Prestige is going to find him. UNF's going to come out, but Prestige gets the second as well. He takes a lot of damage for it, but getting 2 eliminations early, and Snazzy's going to take DTX off the side, and we're in a 5v1.
That means no op either. Noobman the only one left. He might get a flank here on Mr. Memphi, which would be huge. He's going to find it. Mr. Memphi has no idea.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh, I thought he was going to get point blanked with the op. That was
dangerous when that first knife didn't do the job. He got it close, but he has the op now. I think most part he just wants to look for some stragglers, get a little bit on the backside of this, but I don't think he can really push into 4 people.
No, I think he probably wants to bait somebody over there. I'm sure Mr. Memphi would love for them to recover his op, so he probably is trying to get someone maybe baited over towards A, but I think the land side, they're just going to make the smart play and just say, you know what, you can have the op, we'll take the round win, and we'll call that a fair trade.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And not too many rounds going to be left in this half. Only 2 more before we get the side swap. So Firestorms are going to need to find a strong showing in these last 2 rounds so they can really feel confident when they're on defense of themselves.
Denying the op, I mean, definitely has some value. I don't know how the credit. Oh, it looks like Snazzy actually has his own op. Yeah, that's right, because they picked it up from DTX. So they didn't even really deny the op from Mr. Memphi.
Mm-hmm.
They just kept 2 in the game. So, Snazzy might
actually. Snazzy's keeping it.
He's keeping it. He's like, you know what, Mr. Memphi, this is my op.
We did see Mr. Memphi. No, it looks like he used his ult in that last round. He did have it up, but it looks like they did give the op over. Okay. Looks like we do see an op on both sides with Mr. Memphi and Noobman. Have to see if they're able to, what kind of success they're able to find, because so far it's been entirely in Mr. Memphi.
Yeah, they might have a duel in the showers. That's kind of where Noobman lurked last time, and see Mr. Memphi go over there a couple times. So far, nobody is going to be in that shower side for the landslide. Mr. Memphi.
This is dangerous peek.
Yeah, you do not. You saw the ops there. Just run away if you're the Firestorm. Do not ego peek it. Maybe try and get a spray through some smoke. You can see how scared they are and playing this very slow. Noobman has his own op, though. That's what they're waiting for.
Yeah, they're looking for the opportunity to get a nice disorient right there, but they weren't able to poke out in time. And Mr. Memphi's going to just be able to back up, but they did secure and push him off the site.
Nice ult there by Noobman. Does pick up Snazzy, puts him in a 5v4. There's really not much the landslides have. They're going to have to rotate back over. Great Wall's going to go up there from Sage, and they're going to get the plant down for Cool Guy Fire.
Yeah, they've definitely got time on their side now. They're going to poke out, but Mr. Memphi's going to win this duel again. But DTX does find Simply TD on the side. A Killjoy comes out from defense. Another one from Mr. Memphi.
Force all the Firestorms off the site. Nobody's going to be detained. UNF Warrior right on the other side. Mr. Memphi just going to bail on that. Going to find the Phantom.
UNF. Mr. Memphi brings it out. Prestige is going to get the defuse, and it's just a solid retake. The Firestorms have excellent setup. They're able to actually consistently get these sites, get these plants down, but they're just not able to hold these sites and actually prevent the landslides from taking it back.
And this has been a game that, I mean, I feel like the score does not do it justice in terms of how close this game has been, because I think there have been very close rounds, and I think for the most part the Firestorms have had decent success on this KO 4L booth. Now, the landslides did bring out KO last time against the Firestorm. Maybe that influenced them a little bit. It's hard to say, because that KO was insane. Like I said, Riley, one of our other casters, thought the KO was absolutely busted after his first appearance in our Rumble. So have to see maybe the Firestorm regret that choice or not, but they've got to start this comeback sooner rather than later.
And they're in a 5v2 right here. If they continue pushing, they'll be able to get a nice numbers advantage before the rest of the landsides rotate. It looks like they get those 2, so it's a 5v3, and they're going to have the plants down. That's a super quick take by the Firestorms. They just need to hold it here.
Going to put the Lancers in a very tough spot. You see Prestige up in heaven. One utility is going to miss, however. Mr. Memphi's going to peek from the ground, tries to quick scope Newman, not able to find it. Newman and Prestige in a battle. Prestige wins that one.
Gets the wall bang, but he was taken low. Looks like Elboof and Cool Guy will bring it back, and it all comes down to Mr. Memphi in a 1 versus 4.
With that op, very scary place to be. Does not have the knives.
Oh! 3 quick kills right there.
Boof in a 1v1.
Oh, and he cleans it out. That was well done by Mr. Memphi. I think the Firestorms were just playing a bit too cautious there. They were a little scared, but at the time he only had the op. He can really only take out 1, maybe 2 people. If they all pushed together, they knew exactly where they were, but they just weren't able to find that coordination.
Yeah, and I would, I'd love to hear the comms there. I think the Firestorm also might have assumed that Mr. Memphi was still going to have, the operator. They said, okay, we know we can group up because we can kind of just bullet hose them down. And that was a great job picking up, I think it was Solix's gun who had died in that area. So that's just insane game sense for Mr. Memphi to be able to realize, you know what, op's not going to do me any good here, even if I'm one of the best operators that we've seen. I'm going to pick up just an AR and absolutely mow everyone down. And once again, Mr. Memphi proves that the Landslide have 5 talented players, but he stands above the rest, and for good reason.
He really does. But here we do see the side swaps. We do see the offensive landslides, excuse me. We'll have to see what kind of strategies they decide to bring out. Looks like they're going to focus towards B. We see 3 going over towards Hookah, while 2 go B long. And it looks like they're just going to give up Hookah. They don't really want to contest for too much. They want to kind of stay in the back for a bit.
And I want to see if the Landslide are as aggressive as we're used to seeing them be. See Mr. Memphi and Hookah looking to lead the charge. They've got a couple of members coming from B long as well. Oh, UNF Warrior gets pushed out. Ooh. Oh! Gets in the smoke, but they traded out.
He's able to find Mr. Memphi. That's a solid start. Even if it is a 1-for-1, taking out their strongest player is definitely a good look for the first half. But it looks like Snazzy's going to find Alboof and DTX, and he's already got 3 of the eliminations.
Newman looks like he's going for a flank. Oh, the entire team of the Landslide's going to actually take that teleporter. They're all going to rotate over to A, and now the Firestorm have to start running with Cool Guy Fire and Newman in a 4v2.
Yeah, Firestorms definitely need to coordinate when they peek out from these sides. If they do it separately, they're just going to get picked off by alone. Looks like they are charging down. Looks like Prestige does find Cool Guy Fire, and it's down to Newman.
The Newman got caught out by the Killjoy bot. Now he's behind a box in some smoke. Gonna come out. Ooh, gets 1 at least, but that's all he got.
He was able to find 1. So it's just got to, at that point, you're just trying to get a little bit of money for yourself for that next round. But the Firestorms are really going to have to bring it out here. They're only 2 rounds away from being eliminated from this round of the tournament. So they really need to kick it into high gear. And especially when they're down on economy, that's going to be difficult.
Yeah, last time these teams played, it was 13-11 Landslide victory to force this game, this tiebreaker game for the grand final. So you know that this Firestorms team is talented enough to get this done. But right now, Mr. Memphi and Snazzy have just been popping off, both of them with 19 eliminations already. And we'll see if they're able to keep that rolling or if the Firestorms start a nice defensive streak here.
Yeah, I saw Marshall and a Sheriff, but beyond that, it looks like it was just default pistols for almost all of Firestorms. They need to find some quick eliminations just to bring some of these weapons back. Blue's going to peek around the boxes. Looks like they are coming through showers. You see the other members starting to rotate off of B towards A, but it might be a little early. Looks like the Firestorms, or the Landslides, haven't fully committed, and a few of them are going to rotate back towards B.
Memphi dodging those shots. Cool Guy Fire only has the classic, so he's debating if he wants to peek that or not. And I think meanwhile, while Mr. Memphi kind of runs as a distraction, as you mentioned, Kobe, everyone's rotated over. DTX finds Prestige. Now they're going to try and get Simply TD mid-plant, but unfortunately not. And Simply TD's going to get the plant off.
Yeah, at that point, he hadn't reloaded. He only had the 3 shots left and just wasn't able to find those. And now they've got the plant off. Their time's in the Landside's favor. It's a 4v4, but we'll have to see if they're able to retake this area and kind of get some control.
Ooh, Newman gets 1.
It's a nice start for it. See them looking for a few shots through the wall. Snazzy's going to take out UNF.
Wall bang on into Hookah now. Newman looks like he might challenge Mr. Memphi. Gets it done, but Mr. Memphi actually takes out Cool Guy Fire at the same time. Elboof with a headshot onto Snazzy. It's a 2v1. But health not on the side of the Firestorms. You see Elboof at 15. Oh. And he ties to the... Oh.
Wow. Was able to get one with the swarm grenade and then able to pick off the other one with that Spectre, and that was just well played. It looked like they were pretty unsure of where he was playing from, and just he was able to get the jump on both of them, and it's now match point.
Landslides do not want to be eliminated. The closest they've ever been to missing a grand finals. They had to win a game in the last game of our group stage last week to force this tiebreaker. And right now, this tiebreaker has been all Landslides, 1 round away from going to our grand final. Surge White awaiting the victor here of this match. And unless the Firestorms come alive, you have to think winning 10 rounds in a row is going to be very difficult against a team as talented as the Landslides.
We did see some incredible comebacks earlier today with the Team Liquid versus BTD match, so we'll have to see if the Firestorms are able to bring it back here. But looks like Cool Guy Fire is going to take control. But looks like so far they're focusing all their attention at A. We do see Cypher looking for the lurk, but Cool Guy Fire is going to fall down.
Booth looking for something with that Marshall. Oh, the smoke falls on Snazzy, so UNF Warriors able to get 1. They trade out 2 for 2, however.
Comes down to Elboo. Oh no, Cypher is still alive,
DTX
so it is DTX.
Still alive. He's had some insane Cypher plays for this team. Oh,
just missed the Omen.
Oh, he might be able to find Mr. Memphi. Oh, gets 1.
Nice start. He's going to throw the smoke behind him, but looks like he's going to get caught in the disorient. And he's able to dodge out of the damage. And he's a 1v2, and Omen's low. If he can find this, that would be huge for the Firestorms.
Oh, he seeks prestige for a little bit, so they know where he is. They try and jump him over the box. Oh,
there's one.
There's simply TD. DT.
Time's running out.
Oh,
he's going to get prestige. Does he have enough time?
He should. It's going to be close.
Oh, okay, he made it.
5 seconds.
All right.
He's able to get it, and that's a great round for DTX, and he gets that Neural Theft online now.
Yeah, I'd love to see them bring that back and just find a good use of it in this round and really just start snowballing that lead. They really need to start bringing it back here, and especially now when they've got a good amount of rifles, and it looks like so far Landslides are going to hold back, have an eco round a little bit. So this is their chance to kind of cement themselves and get a solid lead.
Yeah, I think it's going to be paramount for the Firestorms if they start to get 2 or 3 kills and they do recognize that a majority of the Landslides are ecoing. You kind of want to try and hold on to that Neural Theft, because to use it in an eco round would almost be a waste unless things really start to go south. So I think the Firestorms need to be very careful as Cool Guy Fire gets a judge kill under Mr. Memphi. And that should start what should be a favored round for the Firestorms.
Yeah, it looks like Mr. Memphi just dashed forward and just right straight into the judge. And Elboof's going to find Snazzy as well. It's a solid start for the Firestorms. Elboof's going to find another. And it all comes down to simply TD and Selexic.
Solix is the only person with a non-pistol. He does have that Spectre, so not saying he can 1v5, but he definitely is going to have the best tools available. But I think if you're able to hold on to that Neural Theft for the Firestorms to win this round, you can start something.
Spot him out with that dagger. They know he's in that area, and now he's walled off. It's going to be pretty difficult to actually make something meaningful happen here. Yeah, and DTX gets the shot with the Vandal. And he gets the Omen as well, so flawless round for the Firestorms. This could be the comeback.
Yeah, great job. I mean, all on DTX with an insane 1v2. I'll be curious to see how much that eco round helped the Landslides and what they're able to buy. Looks like they're just going to go with the standard buy. I thought maybe we saw Mr. Memphi in the first round actually eco so that he could get an op the next round. And I was wondering if that was maybe his play or not, but looks like just standard ARs for the most part for the side of the Landslides.
Yeah, Firestorms will have to be a little more careful now that both sides have equal rifles. Looks like they're going to focus their attention over towards B. We do see the Breach lurking towards the backside now. Looks like he's just going to go towards Hookah as well. And there's only 2 members on that B site, so if they're able to push forward here, that could be the end of this match.
DTX needs to stay alive to get a good Neural Theft ult off to help his team out. Oh, Mr. Memphi barely dodging that wall bang attempt. Solik's going to just peek. UNF Warrior gets taken out, though, through the smoke. Snazzy trades it off and gets another one on the DTX. It's a huge ult taken out.
Yeah, Mr. Memphi's going to find New Man as well. We're in a 4v2, 4v1 now. It all comes down to this Omen if he's able to bring things back. And he's going to get blinded, and looks like Prestige is going to find it, and that's going to be the victory for the Landslides.
Fantastic round by the Landslides. The Firestorm just unfortunately could not get it done once again to their arch nemesis. But I think this Firestorm team if, I don't know how the map bans worked out. I think Icebox, they've shown clearly the most success against the landslide, so that would be a map I would think they have to have in their back pocket. But this Firestorm team, very, very close. A lot of those rounds were insanely tight down to the wire, and a couple of great clutches from both sides. Well, going at it alone can only get you so far. Ultimately, you want to increase your chances of success. You have to level up your teaming skills. We see that with the landslide every week, Kobe, because we talk about Mr. Memphi. I think Snazzy actually had more kills than him in that entire game. Having talented teammates, which is something the Esports Tower really takes time to do, create teams of well-matched players. Give a shout out to the coaches, and if you're watching, you haven't checked out Esports Tower clubs, you should. It is the fast track to rank up. Well, that is going to set up our grand finals for the night. It is a best of 3 between the Landslides, who have never lost in the grand finals, and Surge White, a newcomer, Koba. And after what you saw in our play-in game, any advice for Surge White?
Well, the one benefit Surge White has is that we've broadcasted so many of the landslide games. They have a lot of opportunity to actually look at some of these VODs and see what kind of strategies landslides are bringing out. So I'd love to see them kind of be prepared for a lot of these quick attacks. We see Mr. Memphi dash forward a lot of the times and get punished for it. So if they're able to consistently do that, consistently kind of bait out the op shots and play it a little safe, I think that we'll see the Surge White have a solid showing here.
Yeah, Mr. Memphi is a very aggressive opper, and I'll say the other thing, pick Icebox if you can, because, I would not surprise me, depending on how the bans work, if the landslide just ban Icebox, because that is where we've seen them struggle the most. But that is going to do it for our play-in game. The landslides win, and they're on to our grand finals. Who's going to be this week's champ? Who's going to the Box Fight Championships to play against content creators and Valorant pros? Is it the landslide, or is it Surge White? Our grand finals start right after this break.
Are you guys ready? How do you guys are ready, bro? Here we go. Prepare your ears, chat. Prepare your ears. Here we go. Yes, sir. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Schmeed Cup. They're not going to be ready for this. Oh! Oh! Nitro with 2, 3.
Get down. Dark wave. Get down.
Well, he got the ace. He got the ace to close it. Corey is your first Schmeed Cup champion. UFC events, brought in some heavy hitters to support this tournament. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was the first Schmeed Cup. Hashtag never alone,
Hello, I'm Rajneesh Khanna from iCultiware and Chopra Foundation. Mental health has been brought up a lot recently and proven to be at the forefront of our conversations. As we begin to understand how comprehensive it is, we should open up a conversation that mental health is not one size fits all. We all need help or just someone to talk to from time to time.
Mental health is a very serious thing, so I'm glad that we were able to run this tournament and showcase and just show that and help support that cause, for mental health. So thank you guys so much. Let me go talk to the Esports Tower team. Yo, what's going on, guys?
Hello, man.
So how did it feel playing against 10s?
I was shaking.
Yeah.
Shaking the entire time.
You guys got rounds, right? So that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And don't feel down. You
No,
literally
I
just
feel
played.
I feel great right now. I'm
Okay.
coming out.
Yeah, you guys literally played against one of the most stacked teams, I think, of this tournament. All the people that are watching too, like, you guys can do this as well. You guys can earn your chance. Go look up Esports Tower, and they're doing good things over there.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them. I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Welcome back into this week's broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Valorant. We're broadcasting it live from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. It's week 6. It's our grand finals. We're about to get ready with the landslides and Surge White. But first, let's take a look at something very special that's been happening this week in the Esports Towers. As we talk about it all the time, these are high school kids. Some of them have aspirations to go pro, but of course, as we know here at Boise State, there is a growing collegiate esports scene. A lot of these kids from the Esports Tower are finding their way there. As you see, $322,000 in college scholarships offered to Esports Tower players in just the last week. Absolutely insane. I know we talked to Magic. He's one of the Rocket League players. He is going to Bay State University to play Rocket League there on scholarship. So there are a ton of great things happening here, Koba. It is fantastic to see these high school kids, even if it's not Boise State, getting to play somewhere else for a few more years at the college level.
Yeah, these last few years we've seen the collegiate scene just exploding, and it's awesome that Esports Tower and just are able to kind of find all these incredible players and bring them together and connect them to schools, show them on broadcasts on Twitch, and just get their names out there, and they're able to find something that'll really just further their education and just their entire life experience. They're going to be joining schools, they're going to be competing, and just making a lot of friends. They're going to have an incredible time, and it's super awesome to see how much they're able to get out of this.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, it's not, I don't want to overshadow the fact that, yes, these students work incredibly hard at their game, but a lot of the reason these get scholarships is that they're working incredibly hard academically as well. So a big shout out to all of the players from the Esports Tower who got scholarships. I cannot wait to see and hopefully get to cast either a game against Boise State or for Boise State. Either way, it is a ton of fun to see. And I mean, I think for the landslides, you see there Mr. Memphi, Prestige, Snazzy, Solix. I know you see the name there different than what we had in our last game. Any of those players could easily find their way onto a collegiate Valorant team. They are all very talented. We'll see if Surge Right with Cruz, Maroon, Spicy, Yasuke, and Zed Van are able to make a name for themselves as well. Because, hey, you upset the landslide, you put everybody on high alert that you are a talented team. So we're about to find out who's going to compete in the BFC Valorant event that qualifies a high school team to play against Valorant pro players and content creators. The landslide have won the last 2. They're going for 3 in a row. We'll see if they're able to get it done, as we're going to start off with Doc's keys to the game. It is so important. We saw, I'm sure the Firestorms are probably telling the Surge White, do not ego peek the op. That is Mr. Memphi. He will make you pay. Watch out. You might also just pick up a Vandal or a Spectre and get a triple kill while you're hanging out together. Absolutely insane. Also, make sure you track your win conditions, you call out abilities, and you calculate enemy econ. You need to know when the knives are out, because I think we saw a triple kill as well from Mr. Memphi. It's all brought to you by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You can match with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. We're kicking off things here. The main event, jumping into game 1 of the grand finals. Landslides returning. Surge White, the new team who looked very impressive in our group stage. They're heading to Split to kick off game 1 of our series.
Yeah, they were able to be the first ones that make their way into this series, and you can't count them out by any means. All of these teams have shown up incredibly strong, and we'll have to see what they bring out against these landslides. Like you said, we're going to Split, so we'll have to see what kind of strategies these teams want to bring out, see if we'll see some more KOs, or see if we see a lot more Jet.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that is very interesting, I'm sure a little bit nerve-wracking for Coach Easy, is that he coaches both of these rosters. And it's kind of like, seeing your 2 children have to battle it out in a competition. So I would be very curious to who Coach Easy is maybe rooting for. Maybe he's just rooting for it to be like one of those 17-15 games we had a few weeks ago. But that says a lot, the fact that both these teams coached by Coach Easy. And, of course, I'm sure with the landslides, he has a very, very, I don't want to say simple task, but when you have Mr. Memphi who just doesn't miss, I mean, how do you even coach him? Just say, like, hey, do what you do, man. Go do you.
Yeah, everyone has a different level of what they need with coaching. Sometimes it's just, you got this. Just follow your dreams, follow your heart. We do see the landslides on this right side here. They're going to start out attacking once again. So we'll have to see what kind of defensive options the Surge decide to bring out.
Yeah, we see Snazzy on that KO. We do see a Phoenix for Prestige, which is he's been kind of changing ops around Mr. Memphi, of course, on that Jet. That Viper for V Spicy. I have a love-hate relationship with Viper, but to be honest, I actually end up swapping off to the Sage, so I'll save that for another time. And we see the Astra as well. A lot of utility for this Surge White team, and I think V Spicy's going to have to make sure to stay alive, because I would assume from what we've seen, the landslides are probably going to pick up first blood. So if Sage can get that revive, you get some information and you really don't lose too much. So a lot of pressure on V Spicy to have that revive up as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely. We do see Snazzy bring out the KO this time. Might have really liked what he saw in that last series, and so is wanting to bust it out here on Split. We'll have to see what kind of options they're looking for as they set their sights, and they're going to start making their way towards their spots.
And it is interesting because actually the Surge White were the first team we saw bring out KO last week. It was Yusuke who did it against the Riptides, and that was the game where he dominated. And I've talked about Riley absolutely fell in love with KO and thought maybe KO is a bit too strong. So they should, I would think, have a good understanding of how KO works, maybe have some ideas how to counter Snazzy on that KO. We usually see him on that Sova, and I'll be curious now with that slight lack of intel recon the landslides have, if maybe they have a little bit more issues than we're used to, or if he's just going to pop off on this KO and it's going to be same as usual. Because Snazzy, I think, was our kill leader in that playing game.
Yeah, I think you're right. Snazzy just really showed up in that last series, and looks like we see them all making their way towards this garage. There's only two people on site, with being the Cypher and the Phoenix, so we'll have to see if they're able to find something, where they're going to scout it out with that camera. Yeah, they're going to make their way onto the site, pushing in hard. So Evan's going to get a few shots, actually picks up Snazzy through the smoke, but Mr. Memphi's going to bring it back on Daedra.
That Evan can't quite get away. Solix with the flank from behind with that storm grenade. Mr. Memphi holding down V Spicy and Yusuke up in that angle. Spike's going to get planted, and now it's going to be a regain here for the side of Surge White.
Yeah, it's going to be a little difficult for the Surge to kind of retake this site. They have two up in heaven, one off down below, and the landslides seem pretty cemented. You see the smoke coming out, but Maroon's going to find Simply TD, and Yasuke is going to take low, but he does survive. And he's able to find Mr. Memphi and make it a 2 versus 2.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a 1 versus 2. We do see, though, Yusuke low on health. Prestige is going to immediately pick him, but Maroon gets the headshot, and he is going to be able to get that defuse. And the Surge White with a great retake there to pick up that first round.
Yeah, he was able to swap and find that ghost on the ground, just able to bring it out to the headshot and just get a quick elimination onto that Phoenix. And first round goes to Surge White. It's a great great showing just so far to start it out, just seeing, like, we're in control of this game. I know you've won the last 2 landslides, but not this time. This one's our chance to shine.
Yeah, and just with you know, how the Valorant meta has sort of come out, we have seen a couple teams trying all in after losing the pistol round, but it's going to put the Surge White at such an econ advantage. You see all pistols once again for the landslides. Winning that first round is almost the equivalent of winning the first 2 rounds, and against the landslides, any rounds you can get, you'll take.
Yeah, definitely. We do see Mr. Memphi making his way up here with the shorty, but the tripwire is going to spot him out, and Zed Evan's going to find him as well. Looks like they're still pushing their way up in this area.
Curveball gets the blind, but not able to find anyone, and all 3 members of the landslides all right next to each other. They're just kind of meet the grinder.
Yeah, they're struggling to find really anything over on this A side. So they're just going to pull back a little bit, but looks like he caught himself into a corner a little bit.
I think he's trying to honestly just bait a kill.
See the smoke coming out, but he looks like he's going to run the opposite way. Yeah, it's still only 50 seconds and a 1 versus 5. It's really just trying to find anything on the backside he can. They're all making their way towards B. They kind of think he rotated, so it could be a chance to get a plant. Usually the plant equals to about another extra 1,500 in their pockets for the next round, so it'd be a huge if he's able to actually find that.
30
he
seconds
is
left.
wide open. But Maroon was just sitting there, and Solix does get taken out. Great job by Surge White. A flawless round there. Econ's going to start to even up, but a fantastic start for Surge White, and that's kind of the most disoriented we've ever seen landslide, where all 4 members kind of died in the exact same spot, and no one really ever tried to rotate. They just kind of said, we'll just outgun you, and it never worked.
Yeah, they're really consistent or insistent on trying to force onto that A side, and they just weren't able to find any success. They were losing all the fights. They just didn't have the guns to really be able to contest against Surge White, and it really showed in that round. But this time we should see a bit stronger guns coming out, a bit more even, so we'll have to see what they decide to do. They're pretty spread out around the map, 1 over on B, 1 in A, or 2 in A, and 1 down the middle, so we'll have to see where they decide to focus their sights on.
Swampy back over towards that A site on A main, looking for maybe someone to be a bit aggressive, but you see no one for the side of Surge White is interested in being over there at the moment. So a very slow-paced couple of, start to this round number 3.
Yeah, they're taking their time, and it's a bit of a change of pace of last game. So it's really nice to see them kind of adapting their playstyle to seeing what's needed. Looks like they're all still rotating a bit more. It looks like they're going to go towards the middle, or maybe they're going to want to make their way over to that A side. Mr. Memphi did make it past those stars and is able to push up a little bit.
Yeah, really no action so far. I don't know if we've had a single bullet fired yet. Finally, Maroon and Mr. Memphi getting a fight. Mr. Memphi wins that, but barely on 11 HP. And that's going to sound the alarms. It's an A push, and you see everybody scrambling over there for both sides.
Yeah, he's taken pretty low there, and doesn't have any options for healing on his team, so he's going to stay that low. But we do see Snazzy making his way around through those ropes. Prestige getting a few shots off, throwing out the curveball. But Zed Evans going to find simply DD. There's some low health bars on the landslide side.
You got to be careful, and you see Prestige. Oh, he's going to get one. Oh, man. They
turned away just too early, and very quickly it's a 2 versus 1.
Solix picks himself up a double. Now it's just down to V Spicy. He's going to get hit by that EMP, though.
Yeah, they know where he is, but the spike has been planted. There's not a whole lot of time left. Looks like he's going to pick up the Vandal here.
Maybe just opt it for the save, it looks like at this point.
I think time's out. He's just going to back up, and Snazzy's going to find him on the outside as well. And that's a solid round win for the landslides. They really took it slow, though. That was a much different look from the landslides.
Yeah, the landslides have definitely been a bit more creative with their team comps, and I think they're maybe trying to work some things out, because we usually have seen them on a very strict team comp. They usually have the Jet, the Reyna, the Sova, and so they usually, the Jet's the only consistency right now, and of course that's Mr. Memphi for the landslide. So you have to wonder, maybe the landslide's just trying to feel out some new things. Both these teams also have great utility usage. Surge Right, I've been told, has some of the strongest utility usage in Esports Tower with controlling sites. So we should see a lot of smokes, a lot of utility, which is always fun to see, that sort of unique aspect of Valorant being used very well by both these teams.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to see what they're able to bring out here. Looks like they're mostly focusing towards towards B, with only Mr. Memphi at A and KO over at the middle of the map. But we'll have to see if they're going to speed things up, or if they want to take it slow, if they liked how last round went. So far, we do see Spicy kind of peeking out of heaven a little bit, but they're fairly content to stay in garage for the moment.
Flame wall down. We do see V Spicy gets that EMP from behind, so he has to turn around, but Snazzy's just going to retreat. You see they go from garage, and they're looking to push back over towards A. Still really no one has seen anyone at this point.
Yeah, they're all rotating pretty quickly. Mr. Memphi's on A site. It looks like he's likes what he sees. So he's not really seeing anyone really contest over here. And it looks like they're going to have a kind of free take and able to get this plant off. But looks like Killjoy is going to come out as well, just to guarantee it.
Yeah, they risk the run it back from Prestige to the top. Tasuke does take him down, but he gives himself away. That allows Mr. Memphi to find a kill onto him. That Killjoy is going to allow the spike to go down. Zed Evans takes down Solix, and it's going to be a 4v4.
Yeah, spike has been planted, so they are on a time crunch here. We do see Snazzy a bit farther away in the back here, but we do see a few members. He's able to find V Spicy. It's a nice shot right there. Maroon's going to pick up Prestige.
Snazzy gets another one on the Daedra. There's a knife available for Mr. Memphi if he wants to use it. Zed Evan and Maroon are going to get one, but Mr. Memphi trades it out. It's a 1v2 here. We'll see what Maroon wants to do.
Yeah, Maroon looks like he's just going to pull back, try and look for something else on the exiting side. I don't think he wants to contest this.
Yeah, just simply ran out of time. And the Landslide did a very good job of just, you know, not the domination we saw, but they trade out kills so well that it felt like it was never advantage Surge White. It was always a 5v4, 4v3, 2v1, and that just puts it in such a hard spot for anyone on the Surge White to try and win a fight, because it's very hard in Valorant, especially when you're trying to retake, to get 2 kills without dying.
Oh, yeah, it's very difficult. But we do see that they're able to even it out here, so it's 2-2 at this point. There's a little bit of a economic advantage towards the Landslide since they took this last 2 rounds. So we'll have to see what they decide to bring out. We do see a few ultimates online. We see the knives for the Jet. We see the Breach has his cone ready, and so we'll have to see what they decide to push up over on this A side.
As you mentioned, an eco round for the side of Surge White. They're going to lose 2 immediately without finding a single elimination. Solux will get the plant down. Prestige going to try and bait him in. Maroon gets taken out. V Spicy sees Prestige. He's going to get flashbang with the curveball. He'll throw another one out for good measure. Ooh. Barely wins that one, though.
That was a little closer than it should have been, but it looks like they're going to find it. And a flawless round for the Landslides.
Great job there. I think that Maroon also used the knives as well, trying to eco with that Jet. So that is an ult just taken away for no value on the side of Surge White. And you have to wonder now if the Landslides, after a slow start, they haven't seen Surge White as much as they've seen teams like the Firestorms just due to the grouping. Maybe took them a couple rounds to adapt, and now they're starting to feel in their confident ways. We'll have to see. Yeah,
we'll have to see them bring them back here. We do see 3 of them hanging that over on that A side, and that seems to be where most of these victories have been from the Landslides. They usually have been starting out over by B, but then they've rotated pretty quickly over A. But this time we don't see Mr. Memphis scouting out that A side, so they might want to just full commit towards this B site. See them making their way through this garage. But so far they're taking it a little bit slow. As you see stars come out, but Mr. Memphis is going to make his way on the site with the smoke up blocking Heaven, but Daedra is going to win that fight.
And you get the flash onto Daedra, so Prestige will trade it out, barely dodges the disorient there. Plant is going to go down. 3 members of Surge White all hanging out next to each other. V Spicy is taken down, so it's a 4v3, 2 ults up. Prestige dies on the grapple. And Solix and Simply TD just going to set up around that spike and try and defend it.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they're able to find. Snazzy's looking pretty low. He's going to look for Zed Evan, but looks like they're going to retreat a little bit. Do you see Maroon looking for the flank, wants to come out from a different angle.
Don't know if grouping up is the right play. They're both going to try and commit onto Snazzy. They get shot in the back, though.
Took a little bit of damage, but it looks like Zed Evan is going to find Snazzy there, and it's 2 versus 2. Simply TD is going to get found, and looks like Solix is able to find the victory again for the Landslides.
Yeah, unfortunately for Surge White, by committing 2 members to Snazzy, the Landslide knew exactly where to shoot at, and I think that was maybe the biggest difference maker is you really wanted to see them get that 1v1 versus Snazzy and not have Maroon forced to give his position away, because that just allowed Solix to sit there on the rope and easily pick up a kill.
Yeah, definitely. They were just had full knowledge of what was happening, and so they were able to just really make their decisions with complete confidence that they're doing the right thing. They know exactly where everyone was. So I like to see a little bit more of variety, a little bit of just the unexpectedness come out from the Surge White here in this round. And it looks like the Landslides are going to push straight onto A.
So we do see Suke trying to use some of that utility. Oh,
nice
gets
shot.
1 Sheriff kill, does get taken out. Zed Evans going to get another one.
They have the 2-man advantage now, though. It comes down to KO and Omen.
Even with at least 2 members using pistols for the Surge White, as you mentioned, they're up 4-2. They're going to use that neural theft as well, which is going to make it even harder for the Landslides there. Snazzy and Simply TD both going to have their locations given away. Snazzy gets 1, but Maroon takes him out. Now it's a 1v3.
Yeah, got a nice shot onto the Sage as well, but looks like she's healing up. And so Simply TD's kind of the last man standing. I was going to look for just something on the backside of this round.
Yeah, you'd have to wonder if maybe he just needs to try and run, get an exit frag. At least save his gun. Does have 3,500 credits, so econ not too important, but being able to hold on to that gun is always worth more than just dying with it. He's going to put out that shadow.
We did see last round Mr. Memphis clutch out a 1 versus 4, though, so maybe this is Simply's chance to kind of bring it out. Looks like he's going to teleport, go over towards those ropes, and he's going to rotate over off. It looks like he does not want to contest this site. The spike is down over on A, which makes it very difficult to even look for anything on the backside. He's going to go back up.
The ropes. Maroon knows he's there. Oh.
Yeah, he just kind of got pinched right there where just someone on the front and back, and he just had nowhere to go at that point.
Yeah, looked like he had an idea that V Spicy was there, but Maroon with a great job sandwiching him. And Surge White pick up a round. Couple of great kills there, and you see, I mean, you have to wonder, you think maybe you should have just saved here instead of rushing in, unless he thought maybe that if Surge White had just run away.
Especially once he saw that smoke coming out, he knew someone was outside that window, and it was just very dangerous to rush right ahead anyway. But landslides do fall, so Surge are going to bring it back in a round, and we'll have to see them bring it back here. It looks like the landslides are fairly split up once again.
Yeah, seems like we're going to have a little bit of a meeting in that mid. You can see it looks like it was Mr. Memphi who dashed backwards to take a bit of damage. So did V Spicy, but he should be able to heal some of that up. So battle in the mid and everyone else kind of crowding in that B garage. And we've seen the landslides rotate. Looks like once again they're going to bail on B and probably try and get over to A as Snazzy gets the first elimination.
Yeah, looks like it. Does look like Mr. Memphi's in that area as well, though. Might be able to find something on the backside. They're making their way through the ropes, trying to make their way to A side. Well, the spike takes the long way around, back from the attacker spawn. And it looks like besides the breach, there's no real contest on this side of the map. Mr. Memphi's going to find Zed Evan.
Ooh.
Just couldn't find the shots there. He had the flank, but they just weren't able to connect to that spot, and it comes down to Daedra. And in a 1 versus 5, when they know where you are, it gets flashed out, and Prestige is going to get the third, and it's going to be a flawless round for the landslides.
Yeah, unfortunately, just a great play by the landslides to just get very aggressive, and Yusuke just not able to land those shots, which is very unfortunate to see. And now the landslides feel like the slightly more dominant team, Koba, but it's a lot closer than after that first game I expected the series to be, which is a huge shout out to Surge White, who have played this very, very well, and I think, you know, are very close to evening this up. They just have got to figure out a way to catch on to the landslides, faking the speed to garage, and then hard pushing A, which you can see it looks like Surge White are ready for this time.
Yeah, and one of the bigger things is that Mr. Memphi has not been able to get up to the operator and find that success that really led to like 4 or 5 rounds straight in a row in the last series. It's been a bit more difficult on split to just really find that operator setup. And so far, it's been a good job by the Surge to really shut that down.
Yeah, I think the other thing that has really stuck out to me from the previous weeks is I think that the landslides definitely operate better when you have the Jet and the Reyna for Mr. Memphi and Prestige. He's doing a good job on that Phoenix Prestiges, but I really think that kill power of that Reyna, the overhealing, is a lot better than the utility that the Phoenix brings, and I would maybe like to see them bring that out for our next map. As Daedra's going to get run up on here. Ooh. Didn't even have a chance to take a shot, and Simply TD is going to put that spike down at B.
Yeah, looks like all of the Surge are bunched up, and Snazzy's going to find them all. Look at that. Maroon will bring it back, take out Snazzy, but Maroon with just a Sheriff against 4 members is not where you want to be.
Ooh, missed a couple shots on Prestige. Trying to run away, puts the smoke down, just trying to play a game of cat and mouse, maybe bait somebody into that Sheriff headshot.
Yeah, if he can pick up a rifle for himself, it'd be nice, but no, looks like they're just going to follow him all the way across over to that A side and pick him off.
Great job by the landslides. You can see the credits now starting to stack up in their favor. A couple of ults online, and I think this is what, you know, what I talked about at the start. If V Spicy's able to, you know, get a revive off of First Blood, because I think the landslides have picked up a few more First Bloods, that's going to really allow Surge White to maybe have an advantage this round because they'll know where they got killed from. They'll have that information. So a lot of pressure on V Spicy to stay alive late in rounds, either get a revive on the First Blood or maybe get a revive to turn a 1v2 into a 2v2.
Yeah, definitely. I'd really like to see that used in these next few rounds. We also do see Astra has her wall available. See if they're able to find a nice setup for it and really able to take control of a map, blocking half of it off. So we do see most of the landslides making their way up this mid alleyway, but so far they haven't really run into much contestants. Just everyone's a little bit off to the sides. We do see Maroon going down to Surlix, and we still have a 4v4.
take the ropes over towards A. For the landslides there for a majority of them, we do see Prestige still looking in the back there. He actually ran into V Spicy, who's trying to rotate over from B. And Simply TD is going to slam that spike down, and the retake's going to come out here for Surge White.
Yeah, spike's been planted. It's a 4v4, so it's still fairly even. Looks like he's going to find the KO there. But it looks like Snazzy's going to win that gunfight.
Just excellent utility usage from both these teams as Snazzy uses those flashes. Zed Evans got to pick up one, though. Prestige right around the corner between on those ropes. Snazzy hanging out there, tries to drop onto Mr. Memphi. There's the revive, though, that we talked about, and that turns this into a 3-on-2, which is huge for the Surge White. Yeah,
Surge White definitely need to bring it back in this round, and they're setting themselves up well for it. But looks like Prestige is going to find one in the second, and Snazzy's going to just end the round, and the landslides take it.
That was the worst case scenario. Just insane headshots there from those members of the landslides. And Surge White, they used that ult, not quite able to get it done. And just an overall fantastic play by the landslides. And this team showing why they've won our last two Rumbles.
Yeah, the landslides are playing incredibly well together so far in this round. And they're just finding success. I mean, we even saw multiple ults come out, and it just wasn't enough for the Surge in that last round. But there's still 2 more rounds before the side swaps. We'll have to see if the landslides are able to hold strong or if the Surge White are going to kind of bring it back a little bit. You see him pushing over towards this A side. A few shots crossed, but no one's going to be found.
Did have the knives come out from Maroon, so something that the landslides have to be worried about. But this is going to be a rush plan here from the side of Surge White. Mr. Memphi gets the first elimination. Spike goes down. Solix will get disoriented, though, so he's got to be careful. Yusuke is going to wrap around. That Evan picks one up off screen, and both members incredibly low.
Yeah, Maroon's going to find another dagger as well, and it's a 4 versus 3, which does put the advantage for the Surge. And the wall comes up, crossing out half this B site. So you have to be very careful when crossing onto the other side.
They blocked that bomb as well.
See Memphi playing almost on the inside of it, but he's going to poke through and get the spikes. But they're starting off the defuse again.
Oh, great play there from Maroon to take down Solix. Snazzy will get Yusuke after the defuse, so Maroon just has to run away. Great Astral Roll there. You saw Mr. Memphi kind of looking through it, almost got a kill, and was able to get a quick headshot mid-defuse, but I don't think he stopped it getting to that halfway point. Very, very close for the Surge Wipe there, but I thought they used that Astral Wall almost perfectly.
Yeah, that definitely is what made the round for them. They just gave them so much time and so much prep to be able to actually maintain that site for long enough. And they did it well, but this time they don't have the wall anymore. They do have that neural implant from the Cypher, so we'll have to see if they're able to make use of that. But we do see the knives coming out from the landslides, and they have 3 ults coming up in this last round.
Yeah, this final round before the swap, as you mentioned, Koba, so you'd expect as many ults to come out as possible. That Killjoy ult for sure will probably come out from Solix to try and set them up on a site. And so far, Mr. Memphi looking for somebody with the knives, not able to find it.
Looks like the ult's coming out there. We'll have to see what they decide to bring out. Maroon's going to find Mr. Memphi to start things off. Killjoy's timer ticks down.
They do force him off the site. Snazzy, gets one on to Zed Evan. The whole team of the Surge White are all standing right there. Everybody be careful because Snazzy can just gun them all down. He's trying to peek, gets blinded at the perfect moment, though. He's going to have to take the ropes to safety.
Yeah, that was a perfectly placed blind, and they're able to kind of take over that side. But Snazzy's still flanking from the back side. We'll have to see if he's going to, when he decides to push up. But so far, time is ticking down. This spike has been planted. We see a trade of eliminations coming out, but Maroon's going to find some TD, and it's 3 versus 1 now. Comes down to this Killjoy.
Maroon trying to get a kill. He's going to rush Solix there, who's chilling out, and gets a perfect headshot. That's going to be the defuse, and we'll go to the second half. 7-5. Great first half from Surge White, making the landslide work for it and only going down 2.
Yeah, that was well done, and now we're seeing the side swaps, so the Surge are going to have defense now. We'll have to see what kind of strategies they decide to bring out, if they're going to kind of overload one side or if they want to kind of split up like we were seeing a lot of come from the landslides.
It's a fantastic job by Surge White. I mean, of course, I'm sure they would be loved to be leading at the half, but after you saw what the Landslides did in our play-in game, even being down 7-5 and winning the last 2 rounds before the change, fantastic job here as we're about to hop into our second half as we get through that bye phase. I'm very excited to see what Surge White could do. They have excellent utility usage, as we talked about, 2 of the best utility teams in Esports Tower. And they use them perfectly. Anytime you're getting somebody pushed, you always see the blinds, the disorients come out. Both these teams have done a very, very good job.
Yeah, you have to give props to their coach. They both have an incredible coach that's really helped leading them and kind of helping them build out these strategies, and it's really showing here. Both these teams came incredibly prepared for these finals. You do see them pushing up towards garage of B.
Looks like nobody's too interested as there is some smoke down to block that line of sight off. And it looks like Surge White will simply grab that utility orb.
Gonna trade eliminations. Keep it a 4v4, but it looks like they are gonna rotate off towards B. Well, they might be going towards mid. You do see simply TD kind of scouting out for that, seeing if anyone's gonna be coming from there, but have to see if he's able to pick one off as the Astra smoke comes out.
He's gonna be forced to retreat. Shadows all 4 members of Surge White are right there. Trying to shoot through the smoke, not able to find anything. Little does he know what awaits him on the other side.
He took a dink himself, but he's able to dodge out of that, gets a few shots in, finds Maroon, but isn't going to get anything else off of it.
Gonna go through the ropes. Mr. Memphi's waiting.
Gets one, Siege gets the second, find the third, and the Landslides are able to come out strong in this second half.
Yeah, fantastic job as well. I mean, I think even with simply TD being taken down, giving that information over to his team, and you saw they were all just waiting there on the ropes, and you see Snazzy 16-7 continuing his dominant run here. Really, I don't want to say unexpected, but definitely not the member you would maybe think would have the pop-off grand finals game 1 for the Landslides, but Mr. Memphi's got that Marshall, and anytime he's got a sniper in his hand, he can easily pick up 3 or 4 kills.
Yeah, and we see the Guardian coming out for Prestige. This is a new weapon that's been seeing a lot more use after this really large patch, and he's going to use perfect use of it and just find a quick peek onto the breach over there. Just the Guardian's just so much more, you have way more options because they reduce that cost so much, and just able to use it in quick work right there. As he gives us a few nods, and as he knows what he did.
He knows. He's agreeing with you, Koba. He knows. He said, yeah, I'm only buying this because of the new major patch. Came out last week. Snazzy having some fun doing a jungle gym rope climb, burning off some calories there. As most part, Surge White just hanging out in mid. Finally going to start making a play towards A, but ever so slowly.
Yeah, so far it looks like the Surge don't really want to commit towards anything. Looks like they might be making their way over towards A. Looks like it does seem they're going to focus their sights on doing push through mid and A at the same time, trying to coordinate them, but they are down a man, so it's going to make it a little more difficult. But we do see the Phoenix making his way back towards B, so gives them an opportunity to push with potential numbers advantage. But they've only got 30 seconds left here.
Yeah, now we see the other half of Surge White coming back from A towards bottom mid, and now they're going to all push together. Snazzy at one point knew they were there. He's on those ropes. He just actually came up. We'll see. He gets one. He'll only be traded out 1 for 1, and now time's of the essence. You see Surge White starting to have to run.
Yeah, they need to plant right now. They're down to 10 seconds. There's 2 members on the site. Looks like he's going to jump down, but he's just not going to be able to find it. Going to get taken out, and they're out of time. I think Maroon's just going to have to try and save that Spectre for the next round, and they just took it a little bit too slowly.
Yeah, I think there may be a bit of miscommunication because we saw when there was about 10 seconds of, oh man, Maroon barely survived. I mean, you even called it, Koba. There's not enough time left. Maroon went over just to pick up a gun, and the rest of his team, Daedra, went and the other one went over and ended up getting taken out. So a bit of a miscommunication there from the Surge White. Instead of having 3 players at least eco, only 1 player was able to eco, and so now that's kind of just an unfortunate mistake that against the Landslides, you can not have a lot of those if you want to be able to win.
Yeah, I'd really like to see them just kind of commit a bit more in this next round. We do see all of them focusing on this A side. We see the smoke coming out from Omen, but so far they're going to just kind of slowly peek up, check their corners, but you see Mr. Memphi with the Marshall on that long shot.
He's looking down this A site, trying to keep an eye on that alt orb. Of course, he can't see the silhouettes. We can.
There's the dash. So he knows at least where the other jet is. Looks like just gonna get hit by that dagger as well, so Snazzy knows where he is as well. He's gonna throw out the dagger, but Spicy and Daedra are gonna find two. They're gonna find a third as well. It's a 4 versus 2 now.
All 4 members, all 5 members really of Surge White all next to each other. Now they're gonna rotate over towards B. So they're gonna force the Landslides 2-man crew, Prestige and Mr. Memphi for a retake here.
Yeah, and it's going to be a difficult retake when you're down in numbers, when you've only got the Marshal compared to a handful of Vandal and Phantoms. We'll have to see what they do. If looks like they're going to decide to go through mid, they want to kind of try and overtake that Heaven. Daedra's looking out.
Health bars for the Surge White are very low, including the Spicy at 2 HP. So you get a couple of eliminations. That 2v4 goes in your favor very quickly.
Definitely. Where do you see them pulling back a little bit? Time is on their sides as well, so smoke's going to come out, but they're not going to push through.
One enemy remaining. And
it comes down to Mr. Memphi. He's able to find Maroon. We saw him clutch out a 1 versus 4 in this last round, but it looks like it won't be able to do it here as Spicy is going to find him.
I did not expect Spicy to be hanging out right next to that spike. Ooh. I think Daedra got taken out by the spike, which is an unfortunate part of this victory because that is going to force them to lose their gun, as we see here. Great job by Maroon, and Mr. Memphi kind of got distracted there, didn't check his corners fully, shot at Zed Evan, and then gets surprised by V-Spicy.
Yeah, that was well done. That was just a solid round, and we see it's 9-6 at this point, so it really could still go to any side. We'll have to see. It looks like they want to continue this A push. It worked really well for them this last round, and they're going to try it again.
It's all hanging out on A lobby. Now they're going to go down towards the sewers and start to push over. And
Prestige is over there, though, and looks, Prestige, but he's not going to be able to find anything. He sees them rotating, but he isn't able to actually get any damage off.
Let's at least see the call out for his team, but a great job by Surge White kind of neutralizing the Landslide's aggression by placing them to play cat and mouse early on, and they're all over at B, and this time, though, the Landslides are going to rotate a lot earlier. See Mr. Memphi already over there, Simply TD and Snazzy on their way.
Yeah, they're definitely ready for it this time. We see all of them in that garage, and we don't see any members from Landslides at A. They know exactly where this is coming from. They shoot down part of the wall. It's going to just kind of blind fire to look for a few shots through that smoke as well. As they dash forward, they're going to find Mr. Memphi and Snazzy. And it comes down to this Omen, but he's not going to survive either, and that's another quick round for the White.
Surge White kind of, going with that, they can't kill us all mentality. As you're going to see here, I think all 5 members are sitting right by where the spike usually gets planted, as we're going to watch Mr. Memphi dash in. Yeah, all 5 of them are there, and it's like, well, they don't have enough bullets to kill all of us at one time.
Yeah, they all just pushed forward together and just combined their fire, and like you said, they just didn't have the numbers to fight back like that. They just were able to push forward and just manpower their way onto the site.
Great cam usage here by Zed Evan to be able to usually try and scout out Mr. Memphi. Maroon has brought the operator to the table. I've not seen one from Mr. Memphi.
I'd love to see Maroon find some success with this. We've seen what Mr. Memphi can do with it. We'd love to see what Mr. Maroon can bring out, see if he can find some solid round advantages with it. But so far, it looks like no one's able to, it's not able to find anyone. They're going to fully block off his view, but there are 2 members over at B, so they have a bit of a numbers advantage as long as they're committing towards this A site. But I don't think the Landslides know where they are.
Yeah, I don't think the Landslides know where they are, and I would be surprised if the Landslides knew they had an op as well. Simply TD is about to find out they have an op, though, but he ends up getting taken out by Daedra, barely saving Maroon in time. Nearly had a great flank. The EMP does land on a majority of the team, though. Just got to be careful.
Yeah, they're going to push their way up, but now at this point, the Landslides have all fully rotated. Spicy's going to find one, but it's going to find one through the box right there.
Onto the offer of all things as well. They do get the revive. That kill is for nothing. Solix's HP started to drain.
Yeah, looking a little rough. Memphi's going to find one as well, make it a 4 versus 3. But it's a little rough. There's only 20 seconds left. They're starting the plant. Daedra's going to find Mr. Memphi. See the flash come out, along with the run it back.
Ooh, run it back gets him nowhere.
And comes down to Prestige. He finds one, but he's not going to be able to finish it out. And the Surge bring it back to 8-9.
Great job there by the Surge. Should have been able to retain that op as well. Winning that full eco round. Fantastic job by all of them. Daedra really was the hero there because the start of that round, Simply TD nearly had a great peek on A long downs towards the Maroon, who was looking away with the op, but Daedra saved him. And I think that really kind of set the tone for the round.
Yeah, he's ever since that wall he pulled off in the end of the first half, he's really been playing incredibly well. We see incredible usage. We see a lot of those stars coming out and just blocking their sight, being able to kind of find just some great setups. And it's awesome to see what he can actually bring out. He's found a lot of success recently.
We do see Maroon use the knife. Do not think he was actually able to get the op back. I did not see an op on the side of the Surge White, so that was an unfortunate loss for them as Maroon behind those boxes. Prestige going to put down that flame wall there to at least try and keep himself a little bit safer.
Yeah, takes a little bit of damage, but he's able to heal up within his own wall.
Yeah, is he just waiting? Uh-oh.
He's
Uh-oh.
got the positioning. They seem to know something's up. They're ready for it.
They're a bit worried. Looks like they're not going to fall for his trap. He came oh so close.
They're still staying over in garage, though. It's only Mr. Memphi, or excuse me, Maroon, who's kind of ready for it. But even he pulled back now, not thinking they'd commit this long.
Snazzy is in a great spot if they bail on B, though.
Yeah, I don't know if they can bail at this point with only 30 seconds left, though. They're really going to need to commit and soon. The wall's going to come out, but so is the barrage. They're going to push forward anyway. And now we finally see KO's kind of pushing his way up towards garage himself.
Yeah, Astro Wall's gone down as well. Prestige. Oh, tries to peek through the wall, not able to find it. KO's going to be in a great spot. He gets two before he gets taken out, so it's a 3v3. That Defender Killjoy is going to force everyone on Surge White off the site, however.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's able to make it, though. Spicy's going to fall down, but Maroon's going to find him in the back as well. Keeps it down to 1v1. It's down to Mr. Memphi in an op, though. It's so hard to win these in almost any situation.
Does have the knives if he wants to, you know, maybe bail on that. Gonna try and fake the defuse.
Ooh.
He heard you, Koba. He heard you and said, no, it's easy, Koba.
He doesn't miss these.
No.
Mr. Memphi does not miss with the op. Doesn't matter what the situation is. He's going to find the shot. And gets a solid round, bring it back, stop the deficit of these losses, and are able to kind of save their economy a little bit. He keeps the op, bringing it into this next round. And that was a incredible round coming out from the landslides.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And you see there, unfortunately now, you got at least one pistol, it looks like, maybe two pistols on the side of Surge White. Now they're finally able to gear all up after they pass their guns around, but Mr. Memphi is waiting.
He's up close.
He is going to go for it.
He's going to peek. Oh,
There's
wow.
one.
He just likes to play these aggressive angles whenever he has that op, and just no one's expecting him to step that far forward, and he makes it work. And it looks like they're going to rotate off now. They do not want to go anywhere close to Mr. Memphi, but Mr. Memphi's rotating as well.
You never expect to get opt out of your own spawn. And that's exactly what happened to the breach on the side of Surge White. So they're going to have to take sewers towards A. As you mentioned, though, Mr. Memphi, his game sense is just so incredibly strong that he's able to read that. Went over towards B for a little bit, but they haven't seen Surge White. This is something that Surge White have done really well, Koba, is they've confused and disoriented the landslides. So the landslides have kind of struggled to see where are the Surge White team.
Yeah, they're doing really well of just picking and choosing their battles carefully, but Prestige is going to find Zed Evan there. Make it a 5 versus 3. Looks like Spicy is going to bring it back a little bit, along with Maroon. So it's a 3 versus 3 very quickly. Mr. Memphi's able to find one, but isn't able to find that second shot. He had it lined up, but just didn't quite get the trigger pull. Prestige is going to take off the op. Have to see what they bring out. It's a 2 versus 2, but Killjoy's pretty low on health, but Prestige finds Daedra, and it comes down to Maroon.
Ooh, they almost got him, but Solix there, that 2v1. Coming in clutch, they save the op as well. And I think the Surge Wide have done a fantastic job, and they've gotten so well at just confusing and disorienting the landslide. And we talk about it all the time, though. I mean, that wasn't even an ego peak on the op. That's just, you have to realize, Mr. Memphi has the op in the game.
If anything, Mr. Memphi was ego peaking with the op.
Yes, exactly. That's the crazy part. And so, we see there, the calculate the enemy econ. It's almost got to be like, calculate, does Mr. Memphi have the op? Because if he has the op, make sure you spawn in a very safe location, because you do not want to have happen what just happened that last round, or avoid A, because Mr. Memphi has loved those A sight lines. You see him there once again, but they're all in B garage, so they're going to deny any sort of op value, at least early on.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like they do not want to go anywhere near Mr. Memphi. They're going to focus on this garage area, but they're making their way in now. There's a handful of Killjoy swarm grenades blocking their path, but they'll be able to make their way across easily enough. But so far, they all are going through the garage. They don't really want to split up at all. They're just wanting to focus. Are scattered out with the Omen ult. It's pretty much able to see where all of Marn. Looks like they're going to start to rotate now. See Prestige run it back, runs forward, throws the flash out, but isn't able to find much else.
No, they're going to, you mentioned, Koba, rotate towards that mid, but Snazzy, who's done a great job being in just these most awkward locations for rotations.
He's holding it,
right
1-2.
there, 1-2. Oh, can't quite get 3, but he's going to have a teammate. Prestige is trying to get there. He's taking a bit more cautious approach. Simply TD is there as well. There's Prestige. He picks up a double.
Yeah, that just makes it very difficult for this breach, and Mr. Memphi's going to find him with the op at the end as well. That was a solid round for the landslides, and what a statement they made right there.
And that is something that has been new this week. We're used to Mr. Memphi holding down sites by himself, but for Snazzy to be able to just put himself in a location where it is so, you don't expect him to be there. I mean, he got a double kill. The only reason he died is because their whole team was there once again. Snazzy has really come alive this week and presented that sort of three-headed monster of Prestige, Mr. Memphi, and Snazzy that are almost unstoppable for the landslide.
Yeah, he's just really picking it up. Can't wait to see whatever collegiate team these players end up being on, because they're definitely going to end up somewhere. And wherever they go, they'll find a lot of success. But so far, we see them pushing their way through towards B in this garage once again. Taking a little bit of damage from that turret, but not too much. And this time we see Prestige on the flank.
The ult come out there from Isuke. Maroon's going to be able to take down Snazzy, but he did use his ult.
Yeah, he's gonna survive for a little bit longer. We'll see if they're able to get that res off. Prestige is behind them all, and they are not prepared for it, though. He just has to make his way through the smoke. Looks like Zed Evans going to push his way through. They do know he's over there now.
Down to a 1v4. Daedra gets taken out. Landslides play that perfectly. A fantastic game one, though.
Definitely.
For the Surge White. Even though they will lose as soon as this defuse goes off, I'll have a little bit of fun with it in the end. The Landslides will pick up game one, but if that's a sign of things to come, that is a absolutely fantastic round from the side of the Landslides at Surge White, and hopefully we might even have a game 3 in our hands, because that was an icebox, and we still saw the Landslides at time having some issues. I think Surge White did a very, very good job, and it is kind of interesting because we talked about it. They're coached by the same person, Coach Easy, who we'll actually get a chance to talk to when the grand finals wrap up tonight. I wonder if, what kind of gamesmanship he has to have, right? Because he knows, obviously, the Landslide's weaknesses. Does he maybe coach Surge White up on those weaknesses? Same in, does he coach the Landslides on the Surge White's weaknesses? I'm kind of curious what gamesmanship he kind of had to go through once he learned that this was the grand final.
Yeah, that'll be something we have to ask him when we have him on later today. But it's an incredible match we've seen so far. I mean, 13-8 is a close round, close map, and we'll have to see what comes out on this next one. I believe Ascent's going to be this next map, and we'll have to see if they're even to make it even closer and maybe make it to that third map.
Oh, if you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers, then join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights with our featured rumbles. Recruiters are taking notice as well. We talked about $322,000 in scholarships have been offered to Esports Tower players in just the last week. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. Well, that is going to do it for game one of our grand finals. Can the Landslides make it 3 in a row, or can Surge White, who at times looked spectacular on split, send us to a game 3? We're going to Ascent next. You don't want to miss it. Come back in just a few minutes. Clear.
Are you guys ready? I don't think you guys are ready, bro. Here we go. Prepare your ears, chat. Prepare your ears. Here we go. Yes, sir. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Schmied Cup. They're not going to be ready for this. Oh! Oh! Nitro with 2, 3. Get down.
Dark ways. Get down.
Well, you got the ace. And you got the ace to close it. Corey is your first Schmied Cup champion. UFC events, brought in some heavy hitters to support this tournament. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was the first Schmied Cup. Hashtag never alone,
Hello, I'm Rajneesh Khanna from iCultivewear and Chopra Foundation. Mental health has been brought up a lot recently and proven to be at the forefront of our conversations. As we begin to understand how comprehensive it is, we should open up a conversation that mental health is not one size fits all. We all need help or just someone to talk to from time to time.
Mental health is a very serious thing, so I'm glad that we were able to run this tournament and showcase and just show that and help support that cause, for mental health. So thank you guys so much. Let me go talk to the Esports Tower team. Yo, what's going on, guys?
Hello, man.
So how did it feel playing against 10s?
I'm shaking.
Yeah.
Shaking the entire time.
You guys got rounds, right? So that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And don't feel down. You literally just played.
I feel great right now.
Yeah, you guys literally played against one of the most stacked teams, I think, of this tournament. All the people that are watching too, like, you guys can do this as well. You guys can earn your chance. Go look up Esports Tower, and they're doing good things over there.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full time.
While I work full time.
5 seconds.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Welcome back in to this broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Valor, broadcasting from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We just saw game 1 of our finals, a 13-8 win for the Landslides over Surge White, but a very impressive performance with Fish and Nakoba here calling all of the action. And will we see a third straight champion in the Landslides? Will we have a game 3? I'll be very curious, and I think that the one thing that the Surge White did very well that I'll be curious how the Landslide adapt to, Koba, is that slow and methodical, just kind of really almost just annoying the side of Landslides. I think the Landslides like to play fast. They like to play aggressive. But there's a lot of times you could tell they're like, where are they? And I do think that the map choice did play into that. But I think that was a very good job of Surge White to kind of just confuse and disorient the side of the Landslides and kind of take away that aggressiveness.
Yeah, they really forced the Landslides to kind of play a different style. It's not their normal style. They had to slow things down a lot. We saw a handful of rounds that didn't even have an elimination until almost 40 seconds left in the round. And the Surge White just needs to still build upon that and just kind of force them to play to their style. Just need to constantly be looking for rotations and just really take this map into their hands.
And we see our two teams here, the landslides with Mr. Memphi, Prestige, Snazzy, Solix, and Simply TD in. And on the side of Surge White, it is Maroon, V Spicy, Yusuke, Zed, Evan, and Cruz. And so I'll be very curious to see how this map goes out. As you mentioned, Kobo, we are going to Ascent, and we'll see if the landslides are able to kind of adapt and dominate like we're used to seeing, or if Surge White can really just continue to be that annoying kind of just where are they, disorient them, and force them into situations they do not want to be in. Because if the landslides win, I'm going to have to start eating my words, because I thought in the next few weeks teams are going to start catching them and starting to beat them. And while teams are getting closer and closer, no one's beat them quite yet. But maybe Doc's Keys can help the Surge White pull off the victory and force us into a game 3. They are. Do not ego peek the op, or really, if the op's on Mr. Memphi's side, expect him to ego peek you, because we saw that a few times. Know your win condition, call out abilities, calculate that enemy econ. It's all brought to you by Esports Tower. Score bro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance. Under pressure, you get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. Can anybody stop the landslides from taking their 3rd championship, or will they make it back to Box Fight Championships Cup event? Let's jump into Ascent game number 2 and see if Surge White can finally put a stop to this landslide that has been wreaking havoc across the Esports Tower. We're going to have to evacuate soon with all the damage they're doing. And right now you see, once again, almost the same. We used to see Prestige. He's been on a different operator every single game tonight. See if he can keep up his good luck streak, or if Surge White can maybe stop him in his tracks.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Prestige bring out this guy. It's something I've been hearing a lot of talks about after these recent changes, as someone that's really strong. And we'll have to see how he's able to handle it, and see if he's able to really control the dogs and the birds, really get the flashbangs out there, and just see what kind of strategies they have prepared for Ascent. Because you see the Brimstone coming out for the Surge White, something I love to see on Ascent. It just lets you put so much different smokes around the map, and just really able to kind of control where you can be shot from, and just gives you a lot more options of where to go.
Yeah, and I think that the other thing that is we do see Snazzy back on that sofa, which has been his main operator. He played the KO phenomenally, though. And I'll be curious to see, because I think the one thing that Snazzy did that kind of allowed the landslide to eventually win game 1 is he put himself, you know, in places that you don't expect him to be. We talk about it all the time for Overwatch, you know, be where the opponent doesn't expect you to be, and I think Snazzy did a great job of that. So I'm very curious if he can do that on Ascent, where the map's a lot more wide open, it's a lot more known, we see it a lot more often, and there's going to be very few places he can kind of hide and catch off Surge White.
Yeah, and what I love to see is that he doesn't do this every round. He kind of looks for those lurks infrequently, so they can't just always be prepared for it. It's only sometimes. Other times he's coming at him right out from the front. But we do see the landslides are going to be coming for this A side as they all step up. We'll have to see if they're able to find some success early in this round.
Yeah, and I have been told that Ascent is the landslide's best map, and so that could be something that could definitely cause some issues for Surge White. We'll see how this first pistol round goes, if that is any indication. Mr. Memphi following that dog in. Prestige's going to follow him as well. We're going to have an all-out battle on that A site. We do see Solix up in heaven, going to get taken out there by Zedev.
Yeah, they're going to bring it back. Mr. Memphi finds Zedev and himself, and keeping that as a 4v4. But that was a quick site take for the landslides. They've already gotten the spike down, and they're able to just kind of control this area. We do see Spicy looking towards Snazzy. He's taking a little bit of damage, but not quite going to find him out, as Daedra finds Simply TD, but they're going to find a few more trades back, and it's a 3 versus 2.
I think Daedra's been a huge bright spot for this Surge White roster. As you see, Mr. Memphi gets one onto V Spicy. Prestige gets another one. The 3v2 turns into a 2v0 just like that. And unfortunately, a 3v2 is usually a great place to be, Koba, but when it's Mr. Memphi and Prestige on the other side, you're almost kind of like, can it be like a 2v2 against anybody else?
Yeah, that's pretty hard to fight back in that situation. Those are just some of the 2 top players in this entire tournament, and to just find yourself outnumbered by them, it's almost insurmountable. But it was just the first round. We'll probably expect the landslides to kind of take this next one. They're going to have the gun advantage. We see a lot of Spectres coming out, and we'll see mostly pistols coming out from Surge White. But we'll have to see if they're able to kind of look for something different. They are focusing on this A side again, so we'll have to see what kind of adaptations they can make from that last round.
Yeah, once again, it's that all-out rush onto the A site. You see 2 members, now 3 and 4, make it all 5. Going to be eventually pushed into that site, using that utility so well. The landslide's already going to force a retake. They're just waiting for Prestige to plant that spike. Simply TD gonna go down underneath Heaven. Needs to wait for somebody to jump down.
Gonna throw that swarm grenade down on the spike as well, just to stall that, keep it alive for a little bit longer. But so far they've gotten the plant down. Zed Evans gonna get a little pick on Mr. Murphy. Takes a little bit of damage, but he's able to dash out.
Mr. Murphy gets traded off. It would be a 1-for-1. Get that overhealing. Maroon needs it, but unfortunately the animation not gonna cooperate with him. He'll get taken out by Simply TD. Prestige and Solic's gonna add a pair more. It's Daedra in a 1v4, and with just a pistol, he's going to be hard pressed as he has very little health. He goes for the YOLO and just falls flat to the earth.
Yeah, I got to respect that he tried for it. There wasn't too much to lose there. He only had the starting pistol, didn't really have anything worth saving. So jumped down, tried to be surprising, but it just wasn't quite enough. But now they've got a little bit of money. They can fight back. You can see some rifles coming out from Surge White, so we have to see what they can bring out. But once again, the landslides are just pushing this A site. They do not want to swap their strategy as long as it's still working.
Yeah, they're almost kind of challenging Surge White, saying, we don't believe that you are going to think you're going to think we're going to fall for that triple A rush. You see Mr. Memphi ecoing as well, which probably tells me there's an op in his future, especially if the landslides are able to win this round. So that is another added pressure, and it's going to be a 5-on-2, really, as you see Surge White has the Sova in mid, and then that Reyna over on that B side, and now they all have to make that run over.
Yeah, and once again, they all make their way onto the site. They've got pretty much full control. They just have 2 members. They have all rotated now, but they got the plant down. We'll have to see if they're able to push back. Yasuke is going to find Mr. Memphi to start it off.
TD gets one back, though. A nice trade there. Prestige and Solix both underneath Heaven. You don't want to be too grouped up. They've got to be careful. Simply TD and Snazzy hanging out in the back. Solix gets one under Maroon, though. He will be taken out. Nice trade. It's still a 3-on-3, and health bar is favoring Surge White. But as I say that, 2 headshots make it a 3-on-1.
Yeah, and just like that, it's all that's left is the Sova. And it's looking pretty rough, and Prestige is going to find him from through the wall. And just like that, it's a 3-0 super quickly. I mean, that could have been just one round how quick that went past. But a quick 3-0 is really what you want to see for the landslides. But we'll have to see the Surge able to kind of fight back. They've had time to see this strategy, and looks like they're going for it again. I'd really like to see them make some adaptations, have someone either stand up a little bit closer on that A site, just kind of contest them so they can't all rush through Ryle at once, or just look for some kind of lurk, or just find something different that they can throw at these landslides.
I mean, you can see just how bad those routes have been. We still have multiple pistols out for the side of the Surge White. They went in last round, got eliminated, so another eco round already, which is not what you want to see. Maroon's trying your strategy. And that dog, unfortunately, is going to be a little bit too much for him to handle, and he's going to be taken out. Prestige adds one more, and it's already a 5-on-2.
Yeah, they're just making quick work of it. All that's left is Sova and Bryn. The knives are going to miss, but Spicy's not going to be able to find it, and Mr. Memphi gets the double up top for the flawless round.
Insane play, and I think that the one thing is I'm waiting for the landslides to go to B when they believe that they finally tricked Surge White, but every single round, finally we see Mr. Memphi heading over. Nope, he'll just immediately turn back around. This has really been, we're just going to shove A until you prove us you can stop us, and so far, unfortunately for the Surge White, they haven't been able to stop him.
Yeah, it looks like they have finally decided to rotate a little bit. They have 3 people starting off on that A side rather than just 2, so we'll have to see if they're able to look for something a little bit different. We do see Sova kind of backing up a little bit, might be looking for a kind of a arrow shot to kind of get a little scan off, get some information, but they might be taking this one a little bit slower than they have.
So they baited out the ult there.
Here comes the dog. I see there's a few shots from a few different angles. I know there's at least a bit more of a contest, but Mr. Murphy's going to find Maroon to start it off.
The attacker killjoy as well, so that's immediately going to force Surge White off the spot. Gets the wall bang onto Zed Evan. Mr. Memphi, insane with his game knowledge, knowing where they were. Spike's going to get planted. Yusuke's on the other side of that wall, and Mr. Memphi's just hanging out. Prestige gets one more. Finally, Mr. Memphi's killing spree is stopped, but it's a 3v2, so there's still a chance here for Surge White. Ooh, that's going to be maybe the dagger.
Yeah, they're just have such knowledge and just expertise of this map and this A site. They don't even need to bring any other strategies out. They know how to execute on this perfectly, although, as I say that, they might be making their way towards B.
It's one of those mind games of, okay, how long do we have to go A until we finally convince Surge White we're going to go A, and then we just bum rush B and we put them in the same spot. You can see there's 3 on A, and the, one member V Spicy kind of leaning in that A direction. So this might be the round to go out on the B push, and we'll see. Unfortunately, they're going to get maybe kind of gunned through the wall. Stage was maybe ready for this.
Yeah, they're able to get the quick scan, and they're all rotating very quickly. We'll have to see if Sova's able to find just a little bit on this backside, but the dog's going to jump at him. It looks like Mr. Murphy's going to take him out.
Now here comes the rotation over from Surge White. The landslides just have him on the back heel at all times. Prestige going to get the plant down. Swarm Grenade's going to go on top of that spike. Snazzy does get taken out. And now a defender killjoy gets put down by Zed Evan.
SimplyTD is able to find a little bit. He gets one other one. And all that's left is going to be Spicy at this point. A 1 versus 3. And Prestige is going to find him as well.
They killed the Surge White before the killjoy even had time to activate.
Yeah, they put themselves in just a little bit of a... They tried to push back a little bit too quickly, I think. They didn't give enough time or enough space for that Killjoy ult to really come out. They put it in a little bit too dangerous of a spot where they couldn't really defend it, and it just made things very difficult.
Landslides continuing this domination. 6-0 right now. Several ults up for Surge White, though, including the Empress for the Reyna there. Might allow Maroon to maybe have a pop-off moment that he's been looking for.
And once again, we're going back to A, and just like that, right when the Surge decided to bring that third player away from A this time, he's staying in the spawn, just kind of buying his time before he decides to choose a side, and now looks like he's going to focus on towards A.
Memphi with that first elimination. Daedra got smoked off. He had a great location as well. Yasuke just going to run through the smoke. He'll get headshot as well. Daedra kind of knows where Mr. Memphi is. They're trying to spray each other down.
Few shots on Mr. Memphi. Looks like they're going to find him.
And unfortunately, Snazzy will take him out. Zed Evan jumps down, does gun down Prestige with the 3-on-1. SimplyTD gets the headshot, and the landslides. I mean, we've talked about it. We feel like a broken record at this point. Their knowledge of this A side is just unmatched.
I think this is probably the fastest Valorant game we've ever seen so far. They're just speed running through this. They just are able to take the site so cleanly and just execute exactly on what they need to do.
Yeah, they're going for the any % speed run world record here. This is insane. I mean, you're right. I mean, we've seen a couple games that have trended in this sort of more dominant direction. We saw one at the start of the night that was, I think, 12-2 or 13-2 for the landslides over Firestorm, and it didn't feel as fast as this game. And the landslides really just feel like, they got challenged. I think they responded to that adversity incredibly well after game one. Like, you know what? Let's just kind of, let's kind of just put the dagger in the heart as Sulix gets the headshot on the Maroon to kick off round 8.
Yep, and once again, they make their way onto this site. He's going to put down the turret. Looks like Yasuke is going to kind of look for a little bit of disorients coming out, but we see the ults coming out from the sky. They're going to find Daedra over there, and they've got the plant down. We'll have to see if the Surge White are able to find something different when they recontest here. It looks like Zed Evan's going to find Prestige, make it a 4 versus 4.
I like this spot from SimplyTD. I don't know if anyone knows he's there, but it's not going to matter. Snazzy gets a 4K, steals the glory from SimplyTD, who was set up in a phenomenal spot. But Snazzy steals it all away.
I mean, today has been Snazzy's day.
Yep.
He's really just been popping off, and once again, right there, he just knows they're all gathered up and is able to find 4 of them, 2 of them through the wall. So, incredible performance from the landslides, and they're going to go back towards B now.
We got a great view of it from SimplyTD's angle, and he was ready to go. You could see the silhouettes pushing in, but it did not matter. Snazzy on that Sova, one of his favorite operators, the one we've seen him play the most, but that KO he's brought out a few times has been phenomenal as well. Dominating that round, and see the landslides having a little bit of fun with it.
Getting some spins out. Got to get ready for this site. I think they're just playing a little farther back, trying to avoid the scanning dart, but Sova wasn't playing on this side of the map this time. And it looks like they're going to kind of force their way onto B.
Able to get the dog out to find Zed Evan, but he will actually gun down Mr. Memphi. Sulix takes out Maroon, though, who's looking for a lurk. Slokes picks up a double kill for himself as well. Yusuke back there in barrels.
See a lot of blinds coming out. Have to see who's fighting this fight. Yasuge's going to find one. Spicy's going to find another. They do have the numbers advantage, but they're going to bring it back. It's 2 versus 2. The spike has not been planted yet, though.
They have the Hunter's Fury for the landslide, so they have to be careful. This Daedra's looking. Plant will go down from Simply TD. Use his own smoke. Daedra trying to spray through it. Snazzy finds one. It's the recon, and Simply TD uses him as a meat shield.
Yep. Just like that. The Surge White had an advantage in that round, but they just weren't quite able to execute it. Snazzy was just too powerful. He's able to bring it back and just find 2 more on the backside. And he's 11-3. He's doing well. Mr. Memphi's actually got a slight advantage, though. He's got that 13 kill mark, but it's an incredible performance so far from the landslides.
Yeah, everybody on the landslides team right now has a positive KAT. I think even all the way down, it was a couple 8-5 and 8-3, and Simply TD at 5-2. We just had a fantastic round that last round to give them the win. And that's what I've talked about. This team is so good because it's not just Mr. Memphi and Prestige. And now Snazzy's gotten up there, but Solix can have a great round. Simply TD's had a few great rounds himself. Anyone on this team can pop off if Solix gets that first kill. V-Spicy hiding behind those boxes. They're only going to do so much for you, and he gets caught out there by Solix, who picks up his second of the round.
Yeah, just making quick work of it once again. You see the Defender Killjoy coming out, but there's only 2 members left. But maybe if they're able to get a few of them on this through this Killjoy ults, they'll be able to find something on the backside here, but it looks like no one was detained from it. Mr. Murphy's going to find one, and he's going to find the second as well. And actually, that was his 3rd for the round, and it's 10-0.
Absolutely insane game from the landslide. I think they actually destroyed the Defender Killjoy. Yeah, it looks like, let's see here. Yeah, they actually got the lockdown destroyed. Because I think you're right. If that lockdown goes off, I think Surge White probably have a way to win that round if they get a couple detains. But, and we've talked about this, you know, placing that Killjoy in a way that it's hard for it to be destroyed, almost more important than using it whenever it's up.
Yeah, definitely. But you always do have to be worried. There's a few other ultimates that can destroy it as well. It takes 2 Sova bolts from his ult. So there's a handful of options to take it out from a range. But we see them pushing up on A. We do see Reyna in mid. I have to see if they're able to kind of find a quick rotate or a quick lurk. But we do see Daedra holding this site with the judge, and I really like seeing that here.
Yeah, we've seen, I think, a couple players in the Esports Tower pop off. But using that dog just has been so efficient. Mr. Memphi and Prestige both pick up a kill just like that. It's a 5v3. Maroon's got the Marshal, but that attacker Killjoy is going to allow them to plant the spike and get all set up.
Yeah, he had the lineup on the judge, just wasn't able to pull the trigger fast enough. Mr. Memphi was just too quick on the gun, and he's going to step up, and yes, he's going to follow to Snazzy as well. And it comes down to Maroon. He's able to find 2 on the backside.
Maybe he gets that Empress off. Yep, he's going to use the Empress there.
Oh, the
he had a reload. He played it so well.
So sad. Yeah, that could have been the chance to kind of ace it up and get the 5-man, but he got caught off guard, just didn't realize he had to press that R button.
Yeah, you hate to see that. He gets the healing, he pops the Empress, and as soon as he tries to take the first shot, that reload animation just goes off. Maroon trying everything he can. Final round before the swap. Landslide's looking to make it a clean 12-0. And they're all looking towards that B site where only 1 member, Yusuke, currently holding out for the side of Surge White.
Yeah, we do see Lorena kind of in mid, can rotate there fairly quickly. And it's going to get hit by a few of that disorients. See the dog coming out. See them pushing out forward fairly quickly. Yasuke is going to fire off a blind shot. That's going to fall down. And now we do see the Surge all fully rotating as fast as they can, but the plant is coming down. They're just going to find Prestige, though. Keeps it even as a 4v4, and Spicy finds Simply.
Mr. Memphi reads the lurk perfectly, but he missed all the knives.
He missed every shot.
Still takes down Daedra, then gets Mr. Memphi. And Maroon.
Comes down to Zed Evan. Mr. Memphi gets 4 in that round.
He read that lurk perfectly. We won't talk about what happened at the start. I guess we'll put him on blast by showing it, but great game knowledge. We'll give him
in the right space.
We'll give him a C for execution because he still did pick up the kill.
Yeah.
Just not in the not in the cleanest way.
And we do have a full reset here, so we have to see Surge White just just have a full mental reset. Be like, all right, it's pistol rounds. It's round 1. We just have to take it all.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about they do have the same coach, Coach Easy, who we hope to hear from when this series wraps up. And so I'll be curious to see maybe if he coaches Surge White in a similar fashion for these all-out aggressive pushes. For now, you see all 5 members are on that B site.
Yeah, looks like they don't quite have the confidence to go through the A side. They know that that's landslide territory. They can attack it, so they can also defend it, I'm sure. So we see them stepping up a little bit. They're going to find the first pick onto Deja.
A lot of damage already coming out. 3 red health bars for Surge White, and they're just going to have to run.
Prestige is on the backside, though. They're going to run right into him. He's going to find 1. He's going to find 2, 3.
Oh, no. Can he get one more? No.
Oh, Simply TD will end it right there.
Oh, my goodness. Well, what a way to end that one in fitting fashion for the Landslides, who made a habit tonight of just putting themselves in these just really weird locations and getting great picks. And they are champions once again of your Esports Tower Rumble. Huge congratulations to the Landslide. They win their 3rd championship. And really in a dominant fashion, they stumbled in the group stage, had to play a last-minute game in the group stage to force a play-in game today that they then won. Then they kind of struggled on split, and then they took it home on Ascent. Well, if you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers, then join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights. With our featured Rumbles, recruiters are starting to take notice as well. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or to land a collegiate scholarship. Absolutely fantastic job here by the Landslide, able to win that one, and really just a fantastic effort overall, Koba, by the Landslide. After split was a little bit hazy, they came out on Ascent on their best map and absolutely dominated.
Yeah, they did really well busting that out, and they were just able to have a commanding lead over Ascent, and they just knew exactly what they wanted to do in that map, and they were just able to execute perfectly. We saw so many headshots coming out. We saw them able to really just take a commanding role in that entire map, and they never felt like they were forced to do anything that they didn't want to. They were just in control the entire time.
Yeah, and it's really going to be curious to me to see how teams want to start to counter the Landslides, because we saw the Firestorms maybe look like the best team who can go head-to-head in terms of gun skill. We saw Surge White maybe trying to use a little bit more of frustration tactics. So I'm very, very curious to see how these future Rumbles are going to go and who is going to be the first team to catch the Landslides, because, you know, they're starting to look like the Vipers for our Rocket League Rumbles, where they're just winning everything, and it's going to say, okay, who is going to eventually be able to take them down?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who else we see really coming to compete against this team, because they've just been so strong. But there's definitely other high schoolers out there. There's some talented players, and we'll have to see who else is going to join up. We've seen a few people message today just saying, how do I join in on this? And we'll have to see who else joins in and see what comes next.
Well, as we talked about, hopefully we should be able to be joined here by Coach Easy, who is the coach of the grand final team. So hopefully we'll be able to get him on. I'm sure he is very, I guess, excited and sad probably has to be the best way to put it, Kobe, because he did watch the Landslide dominate, but at the same time, you know, he saw his other team. So there he is, Coach Easy. How are you doing today?
Looks like we're not hearing you. Sounds like you're muted on your end.
Hopefully able to hear him soon.
He's just blown away by how well the Landslides play.
He's just absolutely flabbergasted there. His computer can't handle it, so hopefully he'll be able to join us, because, I mean, I'm sure you have to wonder, really, as the coach of the Landslide, not to take anything away from Coach Easy while we effort him to come back, is, you know, how much do you really have to coach is going to be one of the things I have to ask, because, I mean, Mr. Memphi just doesn't miss. I mean, Prestige has looked insane. I mean, I'm sure he has to have some of the credit for turning Snazzy and Solix into players they are. He has just got a loaded roster that is probably sometimes just like you sit back, you know, you're like, all right, you guys do your thing.
Yeah, you have to think that A-side attack has to be something that they've drilled and practiced, because they ran that flawlessly this entire map.
Yep.
Something they definitely have to run through multiple times. And I'm sure Coach Easy was a big part of that, just really able to lead the team like, okay, we have to start with the dog. Then we followed up by dashing in from the jet. And it's just really finding that coordination between the team and making it all fit together on that one site.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, not to take away from the fact that he also coaches Surge White, who is a team that has looked better and better every single week and had made a run through Group B in the group stage last week to make it to the finals. Unfortunately, they did run into the landslides, but, you know, to get a team that started out a little slow and then has now made it to the grand finals and looked, again, one of the better performances we've seen against the landslides overall in that first game on Split, a very good job. So hopefully we're able to figure out our issues and have Coach Easy join us, because honestly, I would love to get his thoughts on some of those things. Of course, he also has had the chance to coach landslides in those previous BFC championships, the box fight championship events that the landslides have now qualified for again. I'd love to hear his take on that, and just hopefully we're able to get him on the line here before we wrap up tonight's coverage, because it has been an awesome night of Valor, and that would be just the cherry on top, Koba.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to see what he has to, what kind of insights he can give us about both of these teams. We definitely have a lot to learn about them. We've seen them multiple weeks in a row now and just seen the dominance from the landsides come out. We'd love to see a bit more of them coming up, but see who can kind of contest against them. But also we'd love to hear a bit more about how they're competing in that other tournament, the BFC event.
Yeah, well, while we wait for him, Koba, I will throw it to you for any final thoughts you have on the night. I mean, any maybe players you specifically want to give a shout-out to from the 3 games we saw?
Yeah, I think it was an incredible performance by Snazzy. That was the first time we've really been able to highlight him in this series, and he played it incredibly well, really putting his name up there, and I'm sure he's going to be getting a lot of phone calls from a lot of coaches coming up like, hey, when do you graduate? What's coming up? Maybe we can add to that 322,000 scholarship number already, and just he's going to be finding a lot more offers, and along with Mr. Memphi and Prestige, who are already these dominant players. But nothing against the Surge White. We had some incredible performances. We saw Spicy kind of finds a lot of really pivotal moments and was just able to find the correct spots to use his utility, find some good smokes, find some walls, and just put it to good use.
Yeah, as we see there, we talked about it earlier in the night, $322,000 in college scholarships offered to Esports Tower Club players in just this last week. So if you want to get more information, you want to start your path to pro or land one of those collegiate scholarships, I'm telling you, mom and dad are going to be a lot happier if you're spending the 4th of July and Labor Day indoors. If you're getting a college scholarship, go check them out, esportstower.com. These rumbles have been absolutely phenomenal. And I know we talked to Magic. He's one of the Rocket League players last week. He's now on scholarship heading to Bay State for this fall semester. So a ton of great things are happening in this Esports Tower. And right now, maybe the best thing happening in Valorant, at least in the Esports Tower level, is the landslides, because they are just rolling over everybody. It is great to see. And I think you brought up a great point, though, Koba. Snazzy. The better and better Snazzy gets, he just makes his team so much better, because now they have this big 3, maybe even a big 4, because Solix gets overshadowed, but I think on any other team, he could absolutely pop off. 4 insane members, and I think Simply TD, you can't have a team of all 5 stars. Somebody's got to be the point guard. Somebody's got to set up the ball, and I think that's exactly what Simply TD does. He slots in so well. He kind of was that human sacrifice at times, but he played it perfectly, and I think this team just gelled so quickly, and have really been almost a thorn in the side of, I'm sure other coaches probably envy Coach Easy and just his spot that he has, because this team has meshed so well together so quickly.
Yeah, definitely. There'll be plenty of other coaches to get their chance to shine as well. Landslides are strong today, but that doesn't mean that other teams can't catch up. Like we mentioned before, we've done a lot of landslides games. There's a lot of VODs. There's a lot of other even professional Valorant games going on right now. And there's just so many opportunities for players to learn from the professionals along from their coaches, and just gives a lot of opportunities of different avenues of where they can actually increase their gameplay and their knowledge. And I'm excited to see what continues to coming from this next week.
Yeah, I mean, that Ascent game aside, I will stick by my prediction that I do think teams are catching the landslides. I mean, the Firestorms had maybe a bit of a rough map at the very start of our night, but I think the Surge White showed up incredible on Split, that 12-8 game that was very close. Maybe, a couple of rounds could have gone either way. Just Mr. Memphi had some insane 1v3s that we've talked about that I'm sure we'll see in our top 5 plays when we wrap up tonight's broadcast. So honestly, I think teams are getting there. Maybe I might have to give them a little bit more time to catch the landslides, but I do think the rest of the gap between the landslides and the rest of the teams in the Esports Tower are starting to shrink. And, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, we saw them lose, and we didn't see them, but we heard where they lost in the group stage. They actually were 1 game away from being eliminated. So I really do think the landslides are being caught up. There is Coach Easy. Hopefully we figured out all of our issues. Coach, are you able to hear us and you able to hear you?
I can hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
Perfect.
There
yes,
it
we
is.
can.
Right.
So let's start off with this, Coach Easy. You've had 2 teams in the finals the past 3 Rumbles. what's been the most, I guess, exciting and maybe kind of just annoying part of having to have a winner and a loser every single time?
So going back to the drawing board with them, the losers are always, you know, a little bit on the downside of things. They're like, yeah, I don't know what we did wrong. I don't know what happened, this and that. And then on the upside, I'm with the winners at practice. They're like, yeah, we killed it. We did great. We crushed it. And I'm just like, you know, kind of at a wit's end. I don't know really like what to do with that. But then when we do end up having scrims, you know, they show their improvement. Even though they, you know, the losers did lose and the winners did win, but they show their improvement through scrims. I guess the only good thing that comes out of it is that the loser wins mentally. You know, they actually win the practice, the experience for next time.
And you coached the landslide in the previous BFC events. I mean, talk to us about the coaching angle. I know we talked to the players one time about it. Like, talk to us about the coaching side of coaching that BFC event and what the coolest part for you as the coach was.
So coaching for the BFC was something difficult. It's something that we had to actually put our heads together and think of things that we needed to work on, especially against pro players. You know, pro players aren't just your typical ranked players that are immortal or radiant. They're actual players that play this for money. So we were doing a lot of drills. We did a couple scrims against some tier 2 teams that I had connections with. And it really prepared us, and I didn't think we would be able to do the things that we did. And we also didn't expect to face off against Tarek and Tense and etc. first, but it did happen. Despite that happening, I mean, I feel like we did great. The next BFC, we should be able to pick up double than what we got, which was, I think, 4. So I'm sure we should be able to get 8 for next.
Yeah, definitely. That was awesome to see just how well you guys can compete against them. What have you found to be the most rewarding part of coaching these teams?
Probably the fact that I've had like top 4 from my teams at every Rumble. I mean, it's kind of rewarding because it seems like they take me seriously. I take them seriously. Respect, and from both sides. It's just, you know, it's like having a couple buddies playing Valorant. It's just me helping them out at the end of the day. But, you know, if I really wanted to play with them, I could.
And, I mean, speaking, you know, right now, of course, you're happy about the top 4s. What are you looking for most in the future of the esports tower? I'm sure at some point somebody's got to knock you off. So what are you looking for down the line?
For someone to knock me out. Don't know who, but we'll see.
And I do want to ask, for the landslides in particular, is it kind of nice just sometimes you can kind of just like watch a player like Mr. Memphi who rarely misses with the op and be like, yeah, you just keep doing that and I'll take all the credit as the coach?
So when Memphi first joined, he had this problem where he was too aggressive. And however, you can't do that with an op at certain times, especially when you're Jet and you use your dash and you just don't have that escapability anymore, right? So as happy as I can be for him to be doing those type of plays, sometimes I do correct it in practice. Like, hey, let's be a little passive on certain things and let's take it one at a time. When you don't have that escapability, let's back off the aggressive plays, right? But having him, he's a great overall player. I think he gets a lot of credit for the team, but I think the team is overall like amazing. I just feel like they mesh so well. Their chemistry is great. They play on and off practice. I think they're the team that plays the most together besides practice.
I think that speaks a lot to me, Coach Easy, and for a lot of other people that you are still coaching in a win. Because I think I think that's a very, very good quality, so I'm very happy for that. And I think you're right. I think, we probably give Mr. Memphi a lot of credit here on the desk because he has some insane score lines, but that whole team is absolutely wild. So I'll let you go on this. I mean, do you want to give anybody any sort of secret on how to knock you off, or are you just going to keep that to yourself and keep coaching against yourself in the grand finals every week?
I mean, hey, they have the bots to study us.
Well,
Can't
Coach
really say
Easy,
much about that.
Thank you so much for joining us. I cannot wait to see if anyone is able to knock you off or if you end up having to be the guy who beats yourself coaching the team against the landslides. But you are a fantastic coach. As you mentioned, I think your squads are doing fantastic stuff. Can't wait to see your landslides and Surge White in future Rumbles. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
It's always a nice spot to be in.
Yeah, definitely. After winning, getting the interview, that feels good.
And I think that says a lot, though, that he still kind of pulls Mr. Memphi aside and says, hey, you can't do that. Like, you can, but don't.
You got to control the aggression a little bit. We only saw a few of those peaks up a little bit too far, but it mostly was for success.
No, any coach that keeps coaching in a win, I think anyone who's been in any sort of sport, you had that coach who was like, hey, you won, good job, and they never fix your bad habits, and it sounds like Coach Easy is not about that. So, like I said, I expect him to be the guy to knock himself off at this point because, the Surge White played fantastic. He has a little bit of gamesmanship, I'm sure, in terms of what he can give away that he knows the other team can do well. But honestly, fantastic work for him. We will wrap up the night. Congratulations to Landslide winning back-to-back Esports Tower Valorant Rumble, showing true dominance over the last month, setting the standard for teamwork and talent in our Rumble events. They go undefeated on their way to another victory, become two-time qualifiers for the Box Fight Valorant Championship event. This team looked hungry to return. We heard Coach Easy talking about it, thinking they can double their past performance. And if you want to find out more about BFC, you want to learn how to qualify with Esports Tower, check them out, esportstower.com/BFC. Your final thoughts, Koba, before we get to our top 5 on a fantastic night of Valorant.
It's just an incredible group of teams that we can see in these events, and I'm super excited to see what comes next. These just going to be continue playing together. Like he said, they're always playing together in and out of practice. They're always building up that synergy, and I'm excited to see what other teams he kind of starts building up. See the Surge White team as they've got a little bit more used to their roster. I know we said there's a little bit of been roster swaps, and so it'll be exciting to see what they time to bring out next week.
Well, we are going to close out the night with our top 5 presented by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your gear choice paid for. The Idaho Army National Guard is the best team out there. Reach out on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. Congratulations once again to the Landslide and Coach Easy for another championship. But I think he knows that everybody else in these Rumbles are coming for him, and they're narrowing that gap a little by little. But we're going to leave you with our top 5, and until next time, have a great evening. Gets a 4K, steals the glory from Simply TD, who was set up in a phenomenal spot. Snazzy steals it all away.
Today has been Snazzy's day.
Yep.
He's really just been popping off, and once again, right there, he just knows gathered up and is able to find 4 of them, 2 of them through the wall.
That's the Hunter's Fury for the Landslide, so you have to be careful. This Daedra's looking. Plant will go down from Simply TD. He's on smoke. Daedra trying to spray through it. Snazzy finds one.
Yep, just like that. This again, you see the defender Killjoy coming out, but there's only 2 members left. But maybe if they're able to get a few of them on this through this Killjoy ults, they'll be able to find something on the backside here. But it looks like no one was detained from that. He's going to find 1, and he's going to find the second as well. And actually, that was his 3rd for the round, and it's 10-0. Line up on the judge, just wasn't able to pull the trigger fast enough. Memphi was just too quick on the gun, and he's going to step up. And yes, he's going to follow the Snazzy as well. And it comes down to Maroon, who's able to find 2 on the backside.
Maybe get that Empress off. Yep, he's going to use the Empress there.
The reload.
Keep waiting.
Now we do see the Surge all fully rotating as fast as they can, but the plant is coming down. They're just going to find Prestige, though. Keeps it even as a 4v4, and Spicy finds Simply.
Memphi reads the lurk perfectly, but he missed all the knives!
He missed every shot.
Still takes down Danger. That gets Mr. Memphi.